Welcome everybody to the CrossFire podcast. A little after 7 o'clock, Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend. People are writing me, Mooch, you still doing a show? You bet we're doing a show, okay? Because here's the thing. It is Memorial Day weekend, but we can't go anywhere. So we're doing a show, okay? This is what we're doing. We're playing games, we're talking games, and we're creeping up ever so slightly and closer to the June events. Guys, we've got a great show tonight. I want to say thanks to the panel I've got assembled here. Thanks to all you guys that are here in the chat. Please take a few seconds, share it out. Let all those people that follow you on Twitter and social media know that we are here this Memorial Day weekend, Friday night. Okay, CrossFire is live. I want to say thanks to all the Mooch Maniacs out there. Guys, you see that little join button above the description? If you want to join the family and be a part of it, truly helps the Mooch out, and I want to recognize every single one of them. Shout out to Sir X-Man, Masshole 1977, Midway Monster, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Raguram Sellakkannu, Zblackrider, my major Mooch Maniacs, Lucifer, Mark Andrew, Barlow, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, Rich Kreischer, and the VIP Mooch Maniacs, Rated D Demonic, Biggie, the great Biggie 2316, Doggy Dog 420, Percolator 9000, Marty Bison, and our honorable mentions, Wilmy Hood, and the great and forever Mooch Maniac Longshot 316. Guys, we've got a great show. Let's get to the panel here. Look at these guys. They're just blowing it up. Shout out to Doggy Dog. He says, super chat works. Pass it on. I love it. Shout out to the great Sin Vendetta as well. Says, just a reminder, the subscription button works. I promise. Hit it. Thank you, Sin. I appreciate that free promotion. But without any further ado, you guys know him as the most influential and, unscripted YouTuber, a crap gamer. Crap, how the hell you doing tonight?
That's right. You know, look, anybody can sit there and write out some long, boring thing and talk about it, right? I think it takes a real motherfucker to get up there and know what they're talking about live. So
I agree.
That's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, I'm just here to damage control and make excuses for millionaires and trillion-dollar companies. That's what I'm here to do. So anyway, I'm happy to be here. I got things started off right. Yes. There's a lot of cool stuff I want to talk about, and hopefully we can get into more than 3 topics this week.
I hope so too, crap. I even brought a few from last week over.
Oh, man. I noticed.
Right? I noticed. It's great. And then you got yourself here, okay? We've got the great Xbox Pope in the chat, but we've got Xbox's lawyer and defense team leader, Xbot448. Xbot, how the hell are you doing tonight?
What's going on, people? I think Mooch thought I had a really easy Friday last Friday, and he just stacked the panel tonight, man. I don't know. I'm gonna pick and choose my battles, man. I'm not gonna go crazy over absolutely everything. But yeah, no, it's always good to be here, and let's go, man.
Absolutely, buddy. Then I've got a guy. He was under fire for 2 days for no reason, and he's going to get more fire, I think, than Xbot tonight. It's Gaming Forte. Forte, I want to say this publicly. I want to say happy birthday, brother. It's great to have you here tonight, and I know you had a great birthday the other night. How you doing?
No, I'm good, man. I was under fire because J-Dub was sicking all his zealots on me.
Yeah, he did.
And let's just be on the front because J-Dub gonna put up a thing like, oh yeah, where's that list at? And I'm like, bro, listen. I ain't about to sit here and have a fight with you and 200 other zealots. At a certain point, I was like, J-Dub just sitting back on his couch eating popcorn watching this happen. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut the hell up because I'm not arguing with J-Dub. I'm arguing with 50 other people that make no goddamn sense. So let's go.
Man. Great, Forte. Well, you know what? Since you almost did the introduction for me, we'll go through our guests here. We'll start with the one and only J-Dub City is back on CrossFire. Jay, great to have you here tonight, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, everybody, it's your boy J-Dub, a.k.a. Kratos, a.k.a. Mr. Start Shit on Twitter. What's good?
Good to have you here, Jay.
Surely did that shit.
You kept Forte alive and well on that birthday, man. I gotta be honest with you, it was great.
I got Jay muted on Twitter, man. I don't hear nothing he said.
Oh man, you're missing out. Then I got news for you.
How come I don't think so?
Shout out to the great.
Got me muted in our own DM.
He does. That's crazy, but true.
Haven't heard from Dirt in a couple days, so
yeah, Dirt's also muted.
You guys get 1 week times out every once in a while, man.
Shout out to Dirt Griggity, though, man. Awesome dude. Then shout out also to Big Cloud Gaming. He says, "Who's yelling?" Shout out to Big Cloud, who just got done doing a great show himself. Do go over and check it out after this show, of course. And Sir X-Man says, "Crap, it's all about the mayonnaise." Inside joke from the M&C days, guys. I'm with you there, X-Man.
That mayonnaise went bad, man. It's been 4+ years.
Sure is.
Now prefers Miracle Whip.
It's
yo.
super glue at this point.
Yes, it's gross.
You're here for some yelling. You're not going to get it from just one New Yorker. You're going to get it from another. Shout out to Dean Knox. Dean, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, yo, Mooch, Knox is taking a shit right now, man. It's Chauncey on the mic, brother.
All right, shots.
Yo, what's good,
man?
bro?
What's good?
Yo, what's good, everybody? Yo, it's your man Noximus over here on CrossFire, getting ready to get it in. Y'all want this party started, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's go, buddy.
Y'all
Knox,
want this
appreciate
weekend?
that.
Let's go,
Bring that
baby.
energy,
Yeah,
man.
let's go.
Appreciate that.
Let's get it,
Yes.
Mooch. Oh, another wonderful weekend, brother.
Yes, absolutely, Dean. Good to have you here, too, as well. Then I've got my buddy here, Brap, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, who's also just as equally addicted to Warzone. Brap, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Ooh. I want to say something real quick.
Wow.
Forte doesn't catch many L's, but he is catching a big L for what he said
Oh,
on Brad
man.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Forte,
I mean, he
I'll
did.
defend Forte. He didn't know. He was drinking.
Look, he made OBJ the Don stutter. That's how bad Forte's statement was. OBJ is not somebody who's lost for words, if you know what I mean. Like,
Exactly.
he made him stutter. So you know what, Forte? I'm sorry. I'm going to give you this bread, a Wonder Loaf, this loaf. You can hold it, sir, with pride. Put butter on it
Make sure you put cheese on it too.
and cheese.
Wow.
Yeah, if
All right,
you
listen,
listen,
if he-
cheese with it, we don't want bread.
If he's making you a sandwich.
In Forte's defense, right? In his defense, he had a couple of drinks in him, and it's possible that his brain wasn't working properly that day.
That's what
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
saying. Oh, but, I ain't going that far, but you know what? We're going to get into that. I have a feeling that's going to come up a few times tonight. Just saying. I don't know. But I got to be honest with you. I'm really excited that Slow-Mo's here. Slow-Mo, welcome back to the show, man. And honestly, we'll promote it throughout the show. And I actually did put one of the topics on something that you happened to do a video on just recently. I think you launched it this morning or it was last night. I caught it this morning. Outstanding work as usual on some concerns, some valid concerns with Halo that we'll get into later. Slow-Mo, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and I just want to say that today for today's Crossfire, I will be working as Forte's trainer. I'll be in his corner, giving him some tips, telling him to bob and weave when that right hook is coming, and then I will unilaterally throw in the white towel once he starts to get bodied. So. Just letting you guys know I'm here for him. I'm here to help him out. And then as soon as he starts to get beat down, I'm just going to throw in the towel and he's going out of here.
He's about to look like Zab Judah. Remember that fight?
Yeah.
And then I got my buddy here. And honestly, I got to say, I apologize. Shout out to Predator H2O. Pred and I have talked for years, okay? Just years. And then he's like, Mooch, I got to get on Crossfire. But I've been trying to get him on, and we've had such a great panel. 8, 9, 10 people on a week. I got to get Pred on here. Pred has been so opinionistic lately in the chat that I got to hear it right from his mouth himself. Pred, welcome back to the show, buddy. It's been too long, and it won't be that long again. How you doing tonight?
Glad to be back on, man. I feel like the lost stepchild now. So I work my way all the way up in the Xbox and the PlayStation community and the gaming community to get on your show and get on Crap Show, and then you guys leave me.
Well, listen, I got news for you. I saw him hitchhiking the other day. I picked him right up. I got news for you, Pred. Okay, I'm going to start with you here because I genuinely want to hear what you think about this because I know what some of the other panel members may say, but I don't know what you're going to say. I think as we get a little bit closer, I want to talk about this. It seems like a generic topic, but it is something that's coming about more and more now that we know what's underneath the hood here on most of the on majority of the components in both of the systems. Is we're talking about power versus price versus performance. And the issue right now is this. Do you think, of course, price is probably number one, but when it comes down to it at the end of the day, Pred, and I want to ask you this, 10.3 teraflops, 12.1 respectively in both camps, okay? Which one at the end of the day do you think is going to have a, let's call it a golden bullet, if you will, going out and giving the devs a better opportunity to create or to make things that one console will give the consumer that the other can't? Or can't do as well. I mean, you've heard all the podcasts. Where's your stance on this as we enter next generation?
I honestly think it's going to be, I know you said the price thing is kind of king right now. That's what everybody's waiting on, the difference. But let's say everything's equal with the exception of the power narrative. We'll throw that to the window, right? Right now, I think PlayStation is going to have the advantage simply just because they have a bigger user base right now. Like, there's always that negative stigma with Xbox in general, But with all things being equal, I think both of these systems are going to look essentially the same. One may run a little faster with the SSD. One may look a little more powerful, but the power narrative didn't help Microsoft when they came out with the Xbox One X. So it's not a power thing anymore. I think it's more of the games. And right now, people's faith is more aligned with what what PlayStation comes out with as far as exclusives go, because everything else is played on all the consoles. So you play everything else everywhere. It's going to come down to the exclusives, the price, and the games, like the games that actually run on that system. Like, you can't come out with, and I want to knock Xbox for this. Like, you have all this power, but yet your exclusives looks like some shit that could be run on the Switch. So I think the gamers out there who want, those exclusives are going to go with the PlayStation now. Mainly because A, they already have one, B, they already know what they're going to get from that company. At some point in time, they're going to bring those games, even if it's not at launch.
I love how he said at some point in time.
I think they're going to do the same thing they did last generation. They're going to smoke and mirror everybody for the first year and then start dropping games at the end, middle to the end of the generation that, like they did this year. And you utilize something else in between that first year or so, because I just don't think that, like, that first year, I think most people are going to go with the PlayStation just because they have one already and they're expecting those games.
So you think that the PlayStation will again jump out to this like quick start?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think a lot of people are interested in what Microsoft's going to do. That's always a thing. Like, what are they going to do? Because every time they've had the stage, they fucked it up. I can't, like, every time they've had the stage themselves and they had the opportunity to do something great, they screw it up. And then Sony just comes in and says, "Hey, here's a picture of a controller," and it just steals the show. So I think most people are gonna go with PlayStation first. I do think by the middle to the end of the generation, everybody's gonna have both. But starting off, I think PlayStation is gonna come out with the bigger lead just because people already have one. They have that ecosystem already. And I think you said this actually. This was a generation Microsoft couldn't lose.
It's the worst. It's a lot of times when you're studying any type of history with battles, right? And they say that generally this was the battle that they shouldn't have lost. It's what ultimately lost the war. And this was probably the one where it's the most crucial. We don't get to hit restart. And I know a lot of people want to say, but Mooch, there's the power. But Mooch, there's new studios. The problem is that friends, games, right, accessories are all going with them. It's a seamless transition into next generation, or at least it's supposed to be. We'll find out. But I mean, I want to just real quick shout out to the super chat. Justin Maroney says, "Stop yelling, my spirit animal, J-Dubs, aka Super Troll, is on fire." Jay, you already got a fan in the chat. And shout out to the great Lady Foxfire. It's been so long since Foxfire's been with us. Lady, we got to have you back here. Crap, the mail was never good. Miss you, crazy guys. Team Bot, Battle Toad.
I disagree with that, though.
Yes, he does.
You hear
Yes.
that? Yo,
Yes.
Lady Foxfire is Team Xbot right there. Look
Wow.
at that, man.
Well, she used to be Team Crap. Okay? So, I don't know what's going on
It's
there.
amazing. It's amazing what happens when you start telling the
Hey, that
truth
sounds
about
like...
it. Yeah,
Is that a sandwich?
Go ahead, Crap.
Go ahead, Crap.
Yes, it's just amazing. You speak up a little bit against these millionaires and trillionaire companies, and everybody's like, Captain save a trillionaire. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we gotta jump in. Did you hear what he just said about Phil? Holy shit! No, we can't.
I need to know your definition of a little bit. By the way, I really do, man.
In my opinion, every gaming centered podcast should start and end the show talking about the lack of games. When are we going to see games? What kind of games? New AAA IP. Bringing up that we haven't seen a new AAA IP announcement since 2015. Again, 7 years ago to the day, the Xbox One was announced, right? Like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
that was the 7-year anniversary. It's already been 5+ years since we got a new AAA announcement. They fucking gave up less than 2 years into the generation with new AAA IP. Well, how is that acceptable? It's not.
Hey, quick question about that. What is Everwild? Is that a AAA game or a double A?
I don't consider it a AAA, but
why don't you
Well,
consider it a AAA game?
Well, they've only got a few people working on it.
How do you,
But I mean, but the AAA versus that's about budget and how much money
Budget,
you're spending
marketing,
on it.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like It could be AAA.
Nah,
I don't know.
That
for
doesn't
certain.
look AAA.
Well, here's my
I mean,
thing.
no,
It's another game as a service. I mean, hey, that's like
visual that people say, oh, that's not AAA
Oh, I
because it
argued that
looks
point before.
that it has that look.
I
but
gave him
that's
the past.
rare.
I gave him the last the last AAA, as in Sea of Thieves, was 2015. Was when that was announced, right? A lot of people don't even consider that to be AAA.
But they're
You know what I
wrong.
mean?
They're
Yeah, I
wrong.
mean, I guess-
because
I guess it
AAA has
depends on-
nothing to do with visuals. It's about how much money you're spending on the project.
Yeah, and they
period.
didn't spend a terrible lot. In fact, when I interviewed Craig,
they spent more than 25 million, which is what
whose
the
definition
cap
is that,
is
though?
for AA.
well,
Whose
I
definition
interviewed
is that, Slow-mo? Whose
I
definition?
interviewed the creator, Craig Duncan, and he kind of alluded to the fact that Microsoft didn't even believe in the game. So it wasn't up until that last technical preview where it got high Twitch numbers that Microsoft started going, "Oh damn, we could have us a hit here."
But
They didn't have
Slow-mo
any.
was just talking about it was
didn't have
over
any content.
25 million, and
It
that
was over
that
25
equates.
million, though.
That
I don't
equates
think
to a
there's
AAA
a
game.
specific number because I think it also has to do with the number of people working on it, the advertising.
I
There's a lot that goes into it.
I recall
gonna be in Game Pass day one,
Brian
so.
Fargo, who runs In Exile, saying that like what AA is anywhere between 5 to 25 million. That's what he said. That's a AA title, and he said that there was a wide gap between. You see some AA's where you're in that lower end, and it doesn't look that great. You can definitely tell there's no budget. But then there's like the other part of it where those AA's that are in the 25 million area, you're looking at like pretty much what Remedy paid to get Control made, and so it's a wide gap there. But then anything above that is definitely AAA. Doesn't matter if it's 20 people doing it. If you spent more than 25 million on it, you're in the AAA category. And this is something that is mostly a Western term. But when it comes to that, it's about budget. That's how the publishers look at it.
Yeah.
We can have our own personal preferences. We can say that anything photorealistic is AAA and hoorah for that, and everything cartoony is AA garbage. But that's still not what
I don't think it has
publishers
anything
look
to
at.
do with that. I mean, Zelda's AAA, and that's cartoony. So
Exactly.
you know what I mean, like I don't think it has anything to do with that. I just think
I'll
that
give Nintendo a pass when it comes to cartoony. man. But
Nintendo. That's what Nintendo does, though. They're catering to their fans.
Nintendo don't have.
So other
Yeah.
companies can make AAA and have it
Hold
not.
on,
be
though,
realistic.
Xbox. When I've been with Xbox since day one, and they were this hardcore fucking machine. They had stuff like Dead or Alive because the titties bounce up and down. Right? They could pull that off, right? Now it's like it's Super Lucky's Tales and all this kind of weird stuff that you know what I'm saying? It's like you have to understand that you had a hardcore base. They don't cater towards the hardcore at all anymore. Right?
Well,
you got
I
hardcore
would
guys
just wanna say that
pitching
booth
flight
physics
simulators
is-
and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
not-
Like,
but
it's
Blue
not even about
Physics
that.
is a good 10 million all on its own. You just
Listen,
I-
exactly,
I
man.
mean-
It's I still got my copy, man. It's got to get those swimsuits.
It's a quality and identity thing, right? Like
Yes.
you know, Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, all those jump offs from Nintendo are synonymous with greatness. Why? Not because of they are AAA products, right? They do put a lot of money into them, like what Slow-mo was saying, but they always represent, and that is what Nintendo identifies with, right? That is what you know Nintendo for, right? Star Fox, Mario, Donkey Kong, all of those. What do
What do you know
Sony,
Xbox for, Knox?
You know Xbox is known for nothing. For Gears, Forza, and Halo. That's it. It's known for nothing, my dude, because they were always a AA exclusive, machine. That's what they did. That's what made them good. Jade Empire, all of those, bro. Even from the Xbox, Destiny. I'm sorry, Halo. All them shits, bro. Always. The Knights of the
was not AA, brother.
All right. It wasn't. But what I'm saying is that wasn't.
He said
their
everything
studio.
except Gears, Forza, and Halo.
That wasn't their studio. That wasn't their studio anyway. They bought them after Halo succeeded on the original Xbox. Then they locked them in. It wasn't there.
They actually bought them before.
They bought them before that.
No,
man.
they didn't.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
Yeah, they did. They bought Bungie.
They bought them before
after
E3
the
2000.
Yeah, Bungie actually showed Halo at Macworld first.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Ed Freeze saw
They
the demo.
scooped them up, man.
And they scooped up. Ed Freeze
and
made the
that's-
deal happen, scooped him up, and then the next time we saw Halo outside of Macworld was actually on the Xbox.
Yeah,
As accurate as that is, I think what
Cool.
Knox's point
Cool.
is
So I
that they
stand correct. I stand corrected on
don't cultivate
that.
they
Yes,
don't
what-
cultivate like big bangers. Like that
No,
was
what-
something that Bungie had made individually.
What I'm saying is slow-mo. They don't have an identity. Like Sony is synonymous with those realistic, photorealistic games, third person, whatever you want to call them. You want to call them movies that you can play, whatever the fuck. I don't care. I love them, by the way. But whatever you want to call them, that's what Sony is known for. They're known for that. Like they've established themselves as that right now. Not that they started that way, but they have. Microsoft has not established an identity for itself. It doesn't know what it wants to do.
I don't agree with that.
Microsoft has
what does what is it?
Microsoft had an identity.
You just don't like the identity.
They just lost their
No,
identity.
I don't know. Their identity was to solidify second party studios, and they strayed away from that, right?
I thought their identity was to be the shooter box.
That's what I thought their
That's
identity.
bullshit. That's what the community made. That is what the community. No, their identity was. Listen, that is what the community made.
The Xbox One was based. The Xbox 360 and all the Xbox, that system was based around multiplayer gameplay. That's what it was. Their system because they were getting those.
No, because they had the
shooters,
Call of Duty.
No, because they had the shooters that everybody wanted to play on their system, and they nabbed all those.
They have four shooters. I mean, two shooters from
that everybody played.
My dude. Okay, everybody can play. Everybody can play. Everybody can play all the other shooters, with the exception of Halo and Gears.
I'm any other console.
Well, here's the thing.
Of the box, the identity of Xbox has always been the identity of Xbox.
Xbox has no identity. That's my point.
No,
I disagree with that
right now because they don't.
You guys can't nail an identity for them.
No,
we just did.
They're not
Hey, let me.
They're not the shooter box because you say they're not the shooter box. That's literally what people call them.
So then the PS4 is the shooter box now? Because they got all the exclusivity deals for fucking Call of Duty and all that shit. Are they the shooter box now?
They don't make any first person. They don't make any first party shooters. No.
They don't.
Sony. They don't make any first party shooters.
Besides that terrible ass shooter that I don't like. What's the name of that?
Make any online multiplayer games either.
I hate that shit too.
But don't you think the identity of Microsoft is, at least with like the consoles, is that they've always kind of been forward thinking? Like we talked about this on Brap. Like they've always kind of been ahead of the puck.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, so that's for me. That's the identity of Microsoft. Like
that's a good point. That's a good point.
You go back to 2002 Xbox Live. They got crapped on for putting a Ethernet port when broadband cable wasn't even really a thing back then in 2002, 2000, and then Xbox Live, they were charging people. People were like, oh my God, how are they going to charge people to play online? And look what happened with Xbox Live.
Enrique, that's a great point, Enrique. But I think what we're more talking about is like gaming wise, what kind of identity do their games have? And I will say that. Like we all disagree. We kind of disagree with Knox that they don't have one, but I think what we can all universally agree on is that the identity they have right now ain't a good one. So I think what they need. I think what they need to do is that they got 15 studios now. All of those studios have different strengths and weaknesses. They all do different things. I think the identity going forward, and that's something. Identity isn't something that you can just, hey, we got these 15 studios. This is our identity now. It doesn't work that way. They gotta start making games under your umbrella that actually are quality and that people respect.
That's where I say
you get your identity.
There's a huge question mark.
We're talking about something that's not gonna get really done until like 3 years from now. So
that's good.
But the thing is,
I think it could be like a RPG, Western RPG / action adventure / first person shooter, Dubro box. That could be their identity, but they need to start with Halo Infinite, actually redeeming the Halo name.
Fact.
2, these other studios that they put under their umbrella, they gave them that creative freedom. They need to actually step up and show that they deserve to have that creative freedom and actually deliver on quality content. And then 3, they need to not fumble all of their messaging opportunities. I know they haven't done that too much, but the last Inside Xbox was kind of like a call back to the past 7 years. So I think they need to stay consistent with the messaging as well as continue doing what they were doing with their studios. But all that stuff has to work. It has to all be all basically on the same page, because the only way they're going to outperform PlayStation is if PlayStation screws up, because they're so far ahead of them right now. That's just the way it is. PlayStation has to screw up, and they have to make no mistakes to even get on equal footing. So
how do we go from the first topic to this?
I have no idea.
It's Crossfire. Listen, I got to be honest with you. I got to be honest with you. I think that this all does come to play, because even though you might say, Pred, good question, it does come to fruition. It comes full circle again, because the fact of the matter is, these are the questions that a lot of even hardcore gamers are asking each other this November. Let's say they're both $500. I mean, do they want to plunk down $1,000? Are they going to do what like a lot were saying, and they might just pay? Pred was saying it himself. We may only put down $500, play one, and right now a PlayStation gamer is saying to themselves, okay, look it, I like the transparency, right? I like this. I like the honesty. I like the upfront. That's great that Xbox is doing that. But at the end of the day, okay, we don't know what In Exile is going to bring down the pipe. We don't know what the initiative is going to do. These aren't just like Insomniac, okay? Sony goes out and buys Insomniac. You know their pedigree. You know their history. You know what they own for IP. You know what they can put out. That was something that you could almost say, I'll plunk the money down.
They only went to PlayStation anyway, bro. So is that really that big of a difference?
It's a, absolutely is. 2020 was
PlayStation
because
games, though, so they were already first party.
Yes,
but they were freelance.
Okay,
go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, that just means that all of their games going forward are going to be on the PlayStation. So they basically solidified that they basically solidified, hey, this company is going to make games for our platform. And you can dismiss it all you want, but that is a shocker. That's a big studio that you like to see. These other studios,
it's a shocker. It's a shocker that PlayStation bought Insomniac. Really.
Oh, what if Xbox would have done it? You would have been singing from the rooftops.
No, it would have been a shock though, because they only made one game for them. Actually, what did they make? Two. One was a multi-plat smaller title, and then they made Sunset Overdrive.
They made Song of the Deep, which was multi-plat. And then
that was I think too. So, but I'm saying, like, it's not really that much of a shock. It's a great acquisition. It's a great acquisition, but when it comes down to it, 90% of their games that they came out with were only on PlayStation.
But hear me out, Xbox. Don't get me wrong. He makes a good point. But the thing about hear me out, guys, real quick. When you have a team like that, though, you've got now Sony fans know that another Resistance is probably on the way. Now they know that they own the IP for Sunset Overdrive. Maybe Sunset Overdrive 2 comes to exclusively to Sony
don't know
now.
Another Resistance is on the way, bro.
No, but I mean, you can. But all of their catalog, guess. Right? But it's a good guess. Right, so you have the catalog.
Sometime.
I heard that you're only going to make Spider-Mans from now on, man. That's according to the gaming community out there. Come on, I don't know.
Sooner or later, another state of decay is coming.
Right.
It's like, come on.
That's the thing. When you look at the companies that Microsoft picked up, not all of them, but a large portion of the new acquisitions, you already know that they're going to make either AA or very slightly there over that line in the sand. They're not going to explode.
You know what's funny about this?
Jay has this saved, though. He has it saved. Matt Booty said, like, Ninja Theory and these other teams are going to make AA games that look like AAA games in a fast period of time, so they can put them in Game Pass to sit next to their, quote, stable of AAAs, Halo, Gears, and Forza.
You didn't say Halo, Gears, and Forza. They are also making new AAA games.
I'm not
down that side of it.
Hey, I'm not doubting that they're going to do any, but I mean, at what studio do you think is going to actually pull that off, and when?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Hold on, again, really. You know what's funny about this? Yo, July, we're supposed to be hearing about the launch lineup and games that are coming on the Series X. Like, guys been hitting this drum for so long, and we're right around the corner from a show that's going to show first party and what they got coming.
All right, and that's cool.
Hearing that for 5 years.
Coming out with a game until 2024.
I've been hearing that for 5 years. We're right around the corner from E3, and then we're going to hear all the megatons. Like literally, like that argument sounds exactly the same as last year and the year before and the year before and the year before that. So I'm not taking anything on faith. If they come out and nail it, good. If they don't, there's always going to be people that are going to
same old.
Same old. It's going to be told either way.
If they come out in July, they show their games, and it's a disappointment. Not saying it will be. I hope it knocks it out the park. Yeah. But if it is a disappointment, what's going to be the excuse now? Or we're going to have to wait till the next E3 or the one after that? Like, At what point in time does someone say, you know what?
Don't wait for COVID-20, J-Dub.
Everybody's going to get a PC at that point.
At what point does a gamer just say, look, man, it's been 7 years. I've been waiting. I've given it my time. Will they or will they ever deliver what I want from them?
Yeah.
Well,
Jay, real quick, I want to touch upon what Xbot said.
Yeah, I can't wait to read that super chat.
Let me ask something, Xbox. Like, Playground was a big acquisition for Microsoft, right?
Megaton.
Like when it comes down to it, all they've made was Forza Horizon. Now I'm excited with their.
You would agree that was a big pickup for them, right?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that Insomniac wasn't a big pickup, but to say it was surprising or astonishing or anything like, I wouldn't say that about Playground either.
Okay, wait. Let me finish. So let me take. I think the one thing that I will say about the Insomniac thing, the fact I think that they and this is the thing that people. It's funny when I see people doubt Sony. Insomniac going to Sony is you're right, Xbot. It wasn't a surprise, but they had a relationship. Sony has a lot of relationships, and if you will, mind share, political clout, capital, if you will, in the gaming industry because I've been doing this for 30 years.
You got to bring that in every show somewhere. You got because
it holds water.
But wait. Here we are. We're all talking about all of us on this panel. As much as we're critical of Microsoft, if Microsoft came out in July and showed us a fucking awesome event and they knocked it out of the park, all of us on this panel will be singing their praises.
Yep,
but they haven't done that. The level of consistency hasn't been there. You know who's been consistent for 30 years? Sony has. That's why I bring it up.
And Nintendo.
And Nintendo. And there's something to be said for that.
Nintendo even longer. Listen,
Nintendo absolutely.
Let me read the super chats, and Xbot, I will give you a chance to rebuttal. But shout out to Biggie236. He goes, Xbot needs to shut his mouth. He's consistently trashing Sony, but praises Battletoads. Really? Sir X-Man says, before the early 2000s, that was no such thing as a AA, AAA to me. This category is ruining the game industry, only played by what was fun. Sir X-Man, great point. Younger in the days, we didn't even talk about that. Mr. Miracle says, Bot is setting the record for Xbox Defense Force. Absolutely. And JD Gamer says, fun fact for everybody, the hardcore makes up 15% of gamers. But JD, even though you're right, and for this conversation in this panel, in this chat, that holds water for that, you have to understand the fact that the other 85% you're talking about being the casuals right now are leaning on Sony's side. That's where the 100 and some million are sitting for the most part. So that's not a good thing.
Spending the money.
Right? Yeah, go ahead, Xbot.
No, I just got to ask you, where in anything I said there was I trashing Sony? That's what I want to know. Like, where in that entire thing did I trash Sony?
It's not a trash thing. You are an Xbox defense lawyer, and you are paid accordingly. Okay, listen.
I trash nobody, man.
No, absolutely.
I
played the fifth, but I mean,
you don't need to trash. You just simply beguile.
But that's the thing. When you look at the
shout out to Luca.
Shout out to Luca. Shout out to Luca. But like, no, what I wanted to say to you guys though is that like when you look at the acquired companies on both sides of the coin, okay, I saw all these companies getting started up or picked up, and they're nice pickups for Microsoft. But then you go and see Insomniac and Xbox. You made a great point, but the thing is I have to look at portfolio. There's a reason when a movie comes out, right? You guys are all sitting in theater. Remember theaters? Remember we used to go to those? And
wait, we used to go out.
I don't know, crap. I don't remember, but I remember reading about it at one point. And like we used to go to theaters, right? And you see a coming attraction, and you sit there and you go, this movie looks okay. I don't really know what they're talking about. And then it says directed by Martin Scorsese. You know, somebody would turn around in the theater and go, well, it is a Scorsese joint. I guess I'll check it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my point is we don't know what they're going to make, but the pedigree and the history is there for greatness. So you have a little bit more excitement.
All I gotta say is, Naughty Dog was not the best studio when they acquired them and everything like that. And
but these companies,
hold on. But the thing is, you gotta give Xbox, like every single company has had their major faltered generation and then picked up afterwards. All right. Hey, so when it comes down to it, what?
Hey, you talk about Naughty Dog, but okay. So before Sony had Naughty Dog, they had other studios making bangers. Mm-hmm. That's the big difference here.
Yep.
So
Xbox still has Turn 10. They have the Coalition as well. when it comes down to it. They do have other studios there.
That's Forza, Gears, and Halo.
Yeah, there we go. Halo. Yeah, there we go. Halo, Gears, Forza again.
Yeah, why are you discounting those? I don't understand why you would do that.
I'm not discounting that. What I'm saying though is that when you look at that, when you compare and contrast, you see the difference between the two.
Are you going to give Xbox their 30 years as well?
No, not like this.
I've given them. I've given them 20 years. I was an Xbox Live beta tester.
All right.
I give it 20 years, and I've never seen a company fumble first party this way. In my 40 years of gaming, I've never seen that. Yeah. Nintendo's never done
20
it.
Years,
Sony's never done it.
In 20 years, they had the opportunity to keep Bungie under their umbrella to get BioWare.
Yep.
Actually get BioWare as a first-party developer, and they screwed that up. So we're going to talk about history. They've made a lot of mistakes. Now, we're not saying that those mistakes will continue on into this current coming decade, but to not acknowledge what has happened is just not benefiting anybody.
Well, people are talking about the quality of the studios that they acquired, but the last time I checked, Ninja Theory is a quality studio that can just keep building up more.
No one's saying that they're not.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 1,000%.
Quality studios that they acquired, but people are like, I don't know, man. When you look at the portfolios, and I'm like, come on. Like when it comes
listen. Let me ask you this: when you hear if Microsoft would have got Insomniac, wouldn't that have made you happier than them getting?
That would have been a surprise.
Double Fine. But what doesn't that make you more excited than say a Compulsion Games or
Double Fine
or In Exile?
Ninja Theory. I'll say no. Man. I'll say I was excited for Ninja Theory. I'm still excited for Ninja Theory.
But the thing is, though, I'm just saying.
Well, you say one studio. I'm picking one studio.
But I'm just saying. But when you look at the core studio, look at the core studios that Sony has. Like I think their top 5 are untouchable. Untouchable.
You think? I'm glad you think so,
dude. So you're telling me does Microsoft have any studios? Does Microsoft have any studios that stand in there? Yeah, Naughty Dog, and then you have Sony Santa Monica, and you also have Polyphony Digital, which they do a fantastic job. You also have Sucker Punch, which is up and coming. Insomniac Games, Sony Bend. Like they've got so many great studios.
Hold up, guys, one at a time.
Stop the cat. Sony Bend is not untouchable.
I don't think they are.
Sony Bend needs work.
Hold up, guys. One at a time. One at a time.
Look at the collective works. Look at even Sucker Punch, man. They were doing.
I like Sucker Punch.
Yeah, they've done some fantastic. I don't think they've had a failure.
Work. Untouchable is a little much. It's a little much.
Well, I would say
Monica and Naughty Dog. I agree with you 100% on them too. Everyone else
Insomniac,
is really good, or like you'll never hear from them, and they silently get shut down, like Sony Manchester.
Insomniac ain't gonna get. Let's be real. Look at Insomniac's top. They're top.
They're still not untouchable. They're great though.
I don't know. I still look at them as way. I don't look at any of Microsoft as untouchable. Right. I feel like if Halo doesn't come out in Mystique this time, something could happen with 343.
I agree with you.
I think something is happening. I think something is happening to the coalition right now. They just lost another person, the community manager at the coalition, right? Like something they've only released. If you look at the DLC that they've released for Gears 5, it's 2 maps. By this time, in Gears,
lost a lot of people though recently though.
Yeah, they have. They lost Rod Ferguson left. And they lost the
multiplayer.
The head of the multiplayer.
The Xbox side too. So
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, this is what I said. And look, Mooch might be the only one that remembers this, and he'll stick up for me. I said Gears. I said they ruined Gears 5. Rod will be gone within a year. Yeah. And they'll probably be doing a new IP before going back to Gears, maybe a reboot at that time. Absolutely. Did I not say that, Mooch?
You did. You called it a long time ago.
Yep. And what happened? Rod mysteriously, I'm out. I
think Rod left though. Crap. In all honesty, I think Rod left because I think he didn't get a chance. And I could be completely wrong. This is completely me just giving my 2 cents. I don't think he had freedom like we all hear that they have freedom. I think that the game had to go a certain way. They were trying to fill in a narrative. I'm not necessarily if that's sure that what Rod wanted.
I do know 100% it was his idea to jump 25 years.
Rod left when his contractual obligation was fulfilled. That's when he left. All right.
I mean, why do you leave a head of studio unless something happens?
Yeah, that's a huge deal because, I mean, just to go over and start working randomly on Diablo, you know, it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Diablo nut, but I get it. Real quick, let me say a shout out to JD Gamers. Is people forget that Sony lost all clout during the PS fill in the number era. And why did it happen? Because the gamers are fickle and they'll move to whatever platform is in. I agree with you there, but again, it goes back to this is the wrong generation because right now you have people that are going to have 100 and some games, a PSVR, 15 controllers that all go with them with the PS5.
But Mooch, you said, like, we've said this on Crossfire time and time again.
Yeah.
One of the things that got so many consoles out there was the PS4 grabbed the casual. And according to some people on this panel, the casual only buy like maybe 1 or 2 games per year. So your whole about the generation moving forward, games going with you and stuff, isn't really going to mean that much to that chunk of people.
It's not. It's literally like it's like the pyramid. No, it's like listen. It's like the
big chunk.
Xbot. It's like the pyramid. It's the pyramid. It's a pyramid scam. Even if one person buys it is.
There's no question.
If one person it is. Yeah.
There's no question.
So think about it. You have one person that buys and just plays Madden and just plays Call of Duty, right? That's fine. That person doesn't buy much else from any of the companies. Doesn't buy a lot from Sony. I get it. But all of a sudden, his friends that play Madden with him religiously, they buy it, and then they buy 3-4 games on each platform. It's a scheme. It's a pyramid thing. It's the way it works. So, I mean, I got to say, Xbot, you're right on your initial statement, but where you're wrong is when you peel the onion one layer back and you go, oh, wait a minute. You want to have more boxes out there. It's just like anybody who's a hockey fan out there, ask any hockey coach. He'll tell you. The more shots on goal, the bigger the percentage of the puck going in the net. That's just the way it is. So the more consoles out there, the more chances for people to hit the buy button. So it is what it is, and that's something that I think does reign true. Yeah. JD Gamer says, stop with the Halo, Gears of Forza argument. Obsidian, Ninja Theory, Playground Games, plus Rare, Polyphony. I don't even know that. Polyphony. I didn't even know they picked them up. And Sony Bend are not super studios for Sony. I think I don't think they're super Sony studios.
Digital Polyphony is a super studio from Sony.
Yeah.
It's the number one selling IP ever made.
Yeah. There you go.
Of course, that's equivalent to the Halo franchise.
Hey, Mooch, real quick, regarding this generation, like you've talked a lot about this was the generation to win. We had Optimus Code on Brap, and he said there's data out there that shows that people this generation are more tied to their ecosystem than ever before. So people are tied to trophies, they're tied to their friends list, and who's leading in that in that regard? It's Sony. So it's going to be very hard. Mikey Barr even said this too. Mikey Barr tweeted, "It's very hard to get people to switch consoles if." Just riding on AA experiences if you don't have those big, compelling, big budget AAA games. Mikey Barra said that.
He said that. Yep.
Well, let me.
Shaggy from IGN said that too because he ran that poll, which I'm blocked by him, but I saw a screenshot, and somebody asked him if he was disappointed because he ran a poll. You have this guy runs like this big Xbox podcast on IGN, the biggest channel or whatever, and he's like, "What are you planning on buying? PS5 or Xbox?" Series X, and more people pick PS5. And somebody asked him if he was disappointed with the results, and he said not. He says not, kind of, maybe, because it all comes down to the games, and Microsoft hasn't proven that they can consistently release those types of games that are going to look. Grounded ain't going to cut it. Flight Simulators ain't going to cut it. Battletoads ain't going to cut it. None of that stuff is going to cut. They need that something that get people talking, like how Gears of War and how Halo used to get people talking, right? And I feel like it has to be that big game that's going to sit next to those other games, and I feel like until they do that, they're always going to have this kind of over the head. Like, and look, even Game Pass, which I'm not knocking Game Pass, but for their games so far, it's just where they put their like mediocre rated titles, and it's continued on with Bleeding Edge, a 67 rated game. Like that's so Xbox to me, hey, and I'm sure that'll change later, but for right now, it's like. When 5 out of your last
Minecraft Dungeons goes in there, and
a 3-hour game that's a multi-plat. Wow,
a lot of people are excited about that.
Can I say something?
Minecraft Dungeons is a 76 on Metacritic right now. Just saying.
Yeah.
Meta who?
Hey, that's a fun. Are you kidding, dude? Let's celebrate. That's a high. That holy shit. 76.
Slow-mo said 76. His mic cut out. I didn't hear him.
Yeah, 76. Yeah.
Holy crap! Pop the champagne, Jay.
I gotta be honest with you. That's ridiculously low. I would think that this game would absolutely take off. Jay, go ahead. You said you wanted to take the mic.
Let's look where we are right now. Right, it's the last year of the generation. You have one company that's going out on a high. They're acting like this generation isn't over. They didn't just throw in the towel and say, okay, we'll just wait. They are putting out their biggest games of the generation. In
Probably cover their launch lineup for the next series of hardware, man.
Okay. Regardless, right?
You got, paint the whole picture, brother.
Okay, here's the whole picture, right? Since I'll go back to 2013. Sony's been dominating.
Paint it, J-Dub.
Okay.
Paint it for Bach, because Bach only sees in black and white, bro. So
let me prove a point.
Green and white.
Sony came out with light on the title.
Green and white.
True. It really didn't have any amazing games, right? Give it to Microsoft. They had all the amazing games come day one. They had all the bangers, and guess what? People still went with PlayStation, so it didn't matter. So let's fast forward to 2020. The last year of the generation.
Well, why did they go with PlayStation?
No, I get it.
Why did they go with PlayStation? Why did they go? Give context. Why they went with PlayStation, J-Dub?
People keep going back there.
No, you can't. Don't go. They
went there because it was the more powerful system and it was $100 cheaper. That's why they went there.
Yes.
Okay, so
we're gonna be honest. That's why they went there.
It wasn't even.
It was also in double the territories.
You're trying.
Exactly.
We
got to paint the whole picture here.
Hey, Forte should not be allowed to debate this podcast.
Let the man.
Hold on, let Jay finish. Let Jay finish.
I'll leave.
You're trying to prove.
No, you're fine, Forte. We'll get you next.
You're actually helping proving my point, but I wouldn't even try to go there anyway. I was just saying when people try to go back to 2013, it's like Microsoft wasn't even though they had all the games then, they still lost. It didn't matter. Why keep going back to 2013 when they were in a jacked up shape anyway in the beginning?
I don't know. You brought it back to 2013.
Had all the games. Yes, they did. Sure, give it to them, but they didn't get any sequels to those games. Those games really didn't do good anyway, so it doesn't matter. Why keep bringing that up? But the point was, right, 2020, the last year of the generation, one company is going out with a bang with the biggest bangers of the year. Everyone's going bananas over. They got Iron Man, they got The Last of Us, they got Ghost of Tsushima. They're going out before they even showed you a next gen console.
Not to mention that, did you see the sales on Final Fantasy VII remake? Good God!
Yeah, wow.
Listen, right now Sony has 4 games in the top 10 MPD. MLB, Persona. What other game they had? It's
MLB, Persona, Final Fantasy VII remake, and what was that other one? There was another. I mean, I saw Predator on there, which I was.
Predator. Yes, 4 games.
It was there.
There. In the top 10 MPD that are exclusives to that.
Wait, Predators in there?
Wait, hold on. Wait. That right there discludes that whole.
Yes, it is. It is.
No, but that shows you, right? That just shows you.
It doesn't show anything. That shows that shows that all these don't games to their stores to be able to sell any new games at their store. The only reason.
All right, but Forte, people buy Predator. How many people were Ori? Why people don't support Ori, but they support a piece of crap like Editor?
Ori came out before first of all, Ori came out.
All right, what about the Will of the Wisps?
It came out before it did.
No, Ori didn't make any NPD.
Ori didn't make shit. Or shit. And it's a great game. Predator's a piece of shit game.
Listen, we know for a fact.
Come on, bro.
Capcom came out and showed that only
hot IP. That's
hold up. I had heard that
you guys keep saying that you love these cartoony shits, but you don't buy them. You guys say you love them, but you don't buy them.
I know what you're talking about.
All right.
Hold on, guys. Yeah, everybody, relax.
Let me step my foot in there, Mooch. Come on.
Thank you, Crap. Go ahead.
Yeah, it sounded like I know. I love it, but still, we should be able to hear one each other.
We got to hear each other. Yes.
Yeah. Who's next? Who was talking?
There was so many people. But Forte, finish your thought on what Jay was saying. Then I want to hit the super chats.
I can't even remember what the hell I was just saying.
Hold that low, Forte.
My point was, one is going out with a bang that's keeping the mind share and have people consistently happy.
Yes,
and then the other one, people are sitting around fiddling their thumbs, waiting. So Microsoft don't have any momentum right now, whereas PlayStation has the momentum and he's going to.
That's the funny thing that you use that word momentum, because whenever you listen to anybody on social media and in the gaming media, they keep saying Xbox has got all this great momentum, and I'm like, what? What are they doing? And they're like, well, they're transparent. What does that
Well,
mean?
they showed that one game where one guy made it, dude. What are you talking about?
I know.
Hold on. The only thing that they have messed up so far with moving forward into the next generation was their marketing for the last Inside Xbox. If they just said another Inside Xbox was coming out, a lot of people wouldn't have complained about that.
Yeah,
show.
but Xbox, I haven't seen one poll yet that's done by a reputable source that shows Xbox Series X winning anything. I've seen 30,000, 25,000 voters casting, and it's been anywhere from 60 to 85%. That's well over the 50% mark, going for Sony next generation. So even though people are you put a microphone in someone's mouth, right, and go, hey, excuse me, do you think that Microsoft's doing a great momentum and moving forward? People go, yeah, I think they're doing a great job. I think they're being transparent, and I like what they're showing me. What are you buying next generation? A PS5. Right, I mean, so it's like it's not that you're wrong.
These PS5 memes too, like what if this girl, going to get me a PS5 or this? You know what I mean? Like that. It's almost like it's just assumed that's what you're going to get. PS5.
Shout out. Let me do a quick shout out. Crap. Yeah, you're right. I see that all over Twitter. JD Gamer says, "Stop fighting the console war." He said it's like the guy that stuck with the flip phones once the iPhone came out. This won't turn out well with that thinking.
I stuck with a flip phone for a very long time.
I fought crap for the longest time to get that damn phone.
And then I stuck with my Windows phone for
He
a very
did
long
way
time.
too long. He wouldn't even get DMs in Twitter. There was no right. So X-Men says there was no.
I had a Twitter beta, but I couldn't do. It was like, it was pretty bad. I couldn't even get DMs, like multiple DMs. Remember, Mooch?
Yes, I do remember.
I could only do like the one-on-one DMs. I couldn't.
I had to send messages for Crossfire with Carrier Pigeon. Listen, Sir X-Man said there was no Metacritic in the early days either. I completely agree. JD Gamer back again. And JD says here, I'm going to read what JD saying because I truly appreciate him chiming in. He says, J-Dub, what is that there? Polyphony, he says, hasn't produced a produced a great rated GT Gran Turismo game in over a decade. So no, they're not on the same level as Turn 10 Playground if we're comparing.
Gran Turismo Sports sold 9+ million, and that's for a esports only game.
Yeah,
that's
not only that, but
side project 9 million for a side project. What does that tell you?
But what they did was also pretty genius when they made GT Sport. That what they made those cars and all that stuff with the future in mind. So a lot of those cars are they're 8K ready and stuff. We've already seen footage of those running on PCs at 8K. I wouldn't be surprised. It did leak that GT Gran Turismo 7 is going to be a launch title, and it wouldn't surprise me if they pushed 8K with that, or you know what I'm saying? If you think about it, and before you say, "Oh, you're crazy crap," think about this. Even on the PS4 Pro, Gran Turismo Sport was 4K 60. Yeah. So to get a track racer to do 8K 60, I don't think that's beyond. I would think racing games are a great way to show off your console. That's probably why Forza Motorsport, whatever it is going to be shown off too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are games. Yeah, you always want to launch with a racing game, and they can really show off graphical prowess. So
I completely agree. And you said that. Video.
Forza 5 did that for the Xbox One. The cardboard cutout people was awesome.
It still looked good though. Sound
1080 60. How awesome!
Let me get some of these super chats.
Motorsport 5 is still my favorite motorsport out of all of them.
Mine was 6, but yeah.
Let me get this. Steve Tech 809 says, Mooch, how can I get on the panel? Who's yelling? Shoot me at something on Twitter. We'll talk about it. And then I've got Coco Puffs. He says, hey, Mooch, I just got back from El Baño. Huh? Nice, Coco Puffs. Thanks for putting that in there. What did I miss? Is Crap Gamer stirring the pot? Never. He never does that. Jay Barry. Never crap. Shout out to the great Jay Barry. He says here, But Phil told me that gamers tend to buy more games because of Game Pass. Shout out to Ori, Respect Gaming, hashtag PS4, Final Fantasy VII Remake Game of the Generation. And then I've got one here from Hollow Mako 17. He says, I bought Predator. It's not the best optimized game, but I'm totally into it. Level 82. It's a simple and fun multiplayer game. Shout out to JD Gamer again. He says 90 million Xbox Live users, over 10 million Game Pass subscribers, 5 times that of PS Plus, and over a quarter of the time to do it.
PS Plus has never been $1.
Right, that's true. We're gonna. And Knox, hold that thought because I do want to discuss this. Those are the future. Don't get stuck in the past.
You mean they can't get PS Now? I can't get a box of Pop-Tarts and get a lifetime subscription to PS Now?
No, you can't. Grab. You can't.
God,
Flappy,
what are they thinking?
Flappy 1101 says, "Did Game Pass help Capcom with that 6%?" One typical Latino says, "Have a good show, guys. Sup, J-Dub." Thank you guys. I appreciate all those super chats. You guys are all amazing. But I mean, I got got to be honest with you. To JD's comment, I will say this much. The numbers are kind of flubbed. That's what I don't like about what Microsoft's doing with their numbers. That bothers me. They're using active users, people who stop by, people that high-fived them. Listen, I got news for you. I can't take these numbers seriously. They say 10 million. They report at their peak. Right? They also report after they do a 3 or 6 month run at $1 or $3, or like you said, Pop-Tarts or Taco Bell. You can get an unbelievable month. You can get 3. When they hit their peak, they report it. The minute they hit their low, never heard from them.
But they're a publicly traded company. All publicly traded companies do this, though.
Yeah,
not all of them, Enrique.
What kind of sense would it make for a business to report their low?
Do we think that PS Now only reported the 2.2 million at their peak, or was that after everything had?
Oh no,
it's definitely. I'll say it's their peak too, Slomo. But again, it's not. But like you said, it's not 99 cents. It hasn't been given away like loose leaf paper. I mean, it's not the same situation, right? I mean, yeah,
it's also not as much as bad as you made it out to be, right?
No.
But I don't think it's that big. I don't think that Game Pass. I think the numbers that we're seeing from Game Pass are. I'm going to use the word flubbed. I think they're embellished. I really, really do. I don't think
all publicly traded companies embellish their numbers, though. They all do that because they want to raise the value of their stock. Number one. And please the board and their investors. I mean, they all do it.
Well, I get it, but we used to talk sales. Now we're talking like active users or people that stop by. It's different than a sell.
Here's the thing. Last year, so Microsoft said they're not going to announce monthly active users anymore, and they're never going to announce Game Pass numbers. Then suddenly, out of the blue, they announced monthly active users and Game Pass.
Company. That's why.
Holy shit! Yeah, but they
also said that they weren't going to announce games, over a year out, and here we are, Hellblade 2, Everwild, all right, but all these other games that they're announcing.
Are you calling him Huckster?
Like 2022. Phil would tell you whatever.
Are you saying he's a snake oil salesman right here, right now in Crossfire? Phil Spencer, a snake oil salesman.
They all are. Look at Jim Ryan. Who wants to play them old ugly games? We're doing backwards compatibility.
Yeah, actually, hold on. I would say that the bigger hypocrisy with that was he was specifically talking about PS1 games, which looked terrible, and then they released that PS1 Classic, which looked terrible, and nobody bought it. I agree 100%. But I do think.
Well, but I do crossplay too, and they ended up doing that too.
Yeah, that makes it. Look, again, when Microsoft fails to beat Sony next gen, there's not going to be any more excuses. It's like you don't even need a damn Xbox to play Xbox, right? Like,
and another thing, guys, another thing, guys, real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off, my G, but another thing, that 90 million Xbox Live. So if somebody buys the Outer Worlds on the Switch now, doesn't that count as Xbox Live?
Minecraft it does because you got to sign in. Right? Cuphead on the Switch, yeah. It even says so. It's
anything like that's first party, and Outer Worlds is still first party, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
No matter what exclusivity deal it was signed afterwards.
I saw there was a breakdown of it. 60% of those.
Plus, you're fudging the numbers with Amazon tablets and all that other shit that you play Minecraft on.
Yeah, mobile.
Which, by the way, is not cross-platform. If you guys don't know, if I buy something on Xbox, I can't use that on my Amazon tablet or my Samsung Android tablet or my iPhone tablet where I can buy Minecraft, by the way. Right. Why isn't it cross-platform like everybody wanted Destiny to be? Nobody says that shit about Microsoft, right? What's up with that?
Yeah,
I don't know, but listen. I saw the breakdown was like 60% was Xbox consoles, including 360, and then a bunch was PC, and then mobile, of course, and then anything that's playing Minecraft counts as that. So yeah, I mean, like it is one of those things that that they kind of fudged the number, and then all of a sudden they had a decent number to report, so they reported it. And I would 100% if that went down, and it will their next quarter, they're not going to bring up numbers anymore. Right? They'll just, we're not going to talk about that, because they talk about all these.
Needs
they talked about all these great numbers, and then revenue was flat, like 100% flat. Like how the hell do you
That's
even do
the thing
that?
too. Yeah, the numbers went up,
Yeah.
right?
Enrique
Numbers go up and
said
revenue went
that's what
flat.
They do. That's what every company
But
does.
no. Okay.
Report their lows, man.
But I'm glad Crap brought that up. And Enrique, that was my point. When you're looking at these quarterly reports, right? I agree with you. Of course they're doing that. They have to. If they don't impress their investors, the investing stops coming in. I get it. But hear me out, right? Game Pass up, this up, revenue flat.
What, are they gonna rehire
that doesn't
Terry
make
Myers
sense.
too?
It doesn't make sense. That tells me that a lot of people are coming in and not paying. Listen, if your restaurant's packed and you're giving the food away, it don't mean shit that it's packed.
I said this. I saw people doing this. Okay,
It don't mean the food is good. It means the food is free.
Look, I saw people doing this. Hold on, because people were like, "Wow, that's a big jump in users." And I know people that have done this. Okay, like we all have a main account on Xbox, right? You run the dollar deal for a few months or whatever. It runs out. You can't get it again. You create another free one. You can get that dollar deal again, and you can still act. Yes, you can.
You can.
Not anymore.
Yes, you can.
You need a new email.
The last oh my goodness, man! Really?
I'm telling you, man. I just saw. So I know someone who still does
the
this.
gaming community is just creating emails every couple months.
Yes, every few months, and then what they do is you get that.
So 9 million people are just making new.
I'm not saying 9
But
million, but I'm saying
because I'm like, look,
I do it.
just you explaining that is
So wait.
is way too much work for me to get.
Hey,
Well,
but
but
game shares, though, right?
it's
And that's
not-
just
right.
exchanging emails.
Nap after he explained.
Listen,
it,
he's
man.
not necessarily wrong.
That's like saying nobody does game share, and we know most people do game share. It's just exchanging emails.
It's like saying nobody. It's like saying nobody uses Cody, right? Like if you can get a free thing, people are like, "Oh, I got it." You know, it doesn't matter, right? Oh, I can get it. I'll get it.
Man.
But that's
and I'll go one further.
Absolutes.
I'll go
right.
I said I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not either.
I'm also not saying that 9+ million people.
I never said
No,
9 million
not
were.
9 million, but there's a chunk.
I said it explained. There's a couple things that explain a jump. All right, over the last 6 months, how many people have been spammed on Xbox Live by people? Like I was getting at least 20 a day for the longest time. Right, those are spam accounts. Those still count as accounts. Right, unlike Steam. Like Steam is the only place that I know.
20 a day.
Yeah,
Come
20
on.
a day. No,
20
20
a
a day.
day?
Yeah, I have like 5,000 people following me on Xbox Live. So it was like I would get 20 a day of these messages of people. They're basically trying to fish your stuff, you know. And the only place that does this right is Steam, where they make you spend $5 before you can like message people, right?
Yeah,
so none of these bots are going to spend any money to do that. So that could be an increase right there. The other thing is that people kind of
like that's something that they should implement across the board. Because like even
to
to your point on PSN, I get these weird messages.
Yes.
Hey, hi. Are you lonely?
Yeah, that's what I was getting on Xbox.
Like, no.
Yeah.
You click that shit too, don't you?
Hey, look, man, that was only
your
once,
voice?
man. Leave me alone.
Is it your
man.
voice?
And then I also want to point out I took advantage, like many others did, where I had gold through 2022, $1 one time, not every month.
Yep.
Upgraded my gold.
A lot of people did that.
Ultimate.
A lot
So
of
$1.
people. That spread like that
$1
spread
a month.
Xbox. That
I'm
spread
on
like
that too.
wildfire.
I spent $1 and I got
I got Ultimate until 2022.
August next year.
That's crazy. So I mean, real quick, shout out to.
I think you're talking about the hardcores in that sense, man.
Well, the
people
hardcore's
that,
a lot of people on Game Pass. I'll tell you that much because the hardcore were the ones shelling out $60 to $100 on collector's editions and regular.
Mooch,
right
check
and
this
now
out.
they can
If
get it
you're-
for $1.
If you're looking at around 10 million, right? 5 times more than what they said for PS Now, right? Even at its low point, I mean, when you're talking about a 5 times greater distance, it's still going to be higher than that in a fraction of the time, man. I think you can even take all what you're talking about into account, and if you can find the numbers somehow, like it's still. It
absolutely. Listen, guys, and I'm not going to use the but afterwards because Xbox always like, but there's a but coming. Game Pass is great, and there's no but this time. Okay, I agree with Xbox. The numbers are good. It's a good service, and it provides something that the PS Now doesn't do. Right? It has third-party games in there, newer third-party AAA games that get tossed in there. You don't know what's coming. All right, it's like a grab bag. You know, sometimes you reach in there, you got the gift you want. Sometimes you reach in there and you got a Pepperidge Farms box, okay, and you're not happy, okay? I've been seeing a lot. There's a lot more times that Major Nelson tweets out, here's what's coming to Game Pass, and I go, that doesn't look appealing than the times I've said it does, but that's okay. It's a grab bag. I get it. It's fine. But I want to say shout out to JD Gamer. Says, let me say this clearly. The last 2 GT games have sucked compared to Forza, no matter what they sold, and it showed the Metacritic. Sales numbers don't make anything taste good. McDonald's versus a great steak. I do agree with his analogy. I like the food analogy, by the way, JD. Failed Pyromancer says, those numbers are for investors, not the gamers. Surex Man again pops in and says, Gears Tactics and MCC Master Chief Collection made lots of money on PC. We're going to get into that, believe me. And I think I have one more here from JD.
Gears Tactics didn't make NPD. No.
And then JD Gamer one time says, crap, you might do all that stuff, but 90% of gamers won't do that stuff. It takes too much time and effort. Let's be realistic and won't explain a way that
I got all these dudes coming out. And I got all these dudes telling me, you don't even need to pay for gold. Just do Microsoft rewards or Bing rewards. People will go sit there and search for shit every single day on there. Yeah. But then you're going to sit there and tell me it's too difficult to go and make another lot.
And that's hardcore people too.
Yeah,
hey, or you could be like me and you can just create a script that does it for you and actually runs it like
illegal.
Slow-mo.
Hey, look, it's not illegal. It ain't illegal.
Do share the DM, please.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's a batch file. I can give it to you guys. I'm just saying. It's just you just click a button and it
batch file.
I'll give you your batch file, baby.
So let me go to another subject.
I'm not sharing.
Hey, by the way, guys, Xbox Live is trending right now. Guess why?
It's not up. It's not working.
It's not up. And people are going nuts, man. They're like, damn.
Yeah, we noticed it last night. Me and Enrique were playing Warzone, and we're like, let's just see who's on our Xbox Live. And so we go ahead and we hit the button and we look at it, and it's like loading 1 person, 2 people. Yeah. I'm like, where's our friends list? Nothing. Of course, there it is.
Mooch, I went through that this afternoon. It's still not working. I was on with Tremont. And we were trying to get who's the guy we played with? Percolator.
Perk.
And I was trying to get Perk in, but I couldn't load up the Xbox thing. And we're both cursing Xbox, right? And Tremont's been on Xbox as long as I have, Xbox Live, 20 years, and like we're both cursing it.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
It's annoying. Listen. Things go down, like we say all the time. ATM machines go down.
Go down when we have to play Warzone.
Not exactly, but it's happening more and more often. And I was one of the guiltiest people back earlier in the day. I was like, well, Xbox Live can't be touched. Like we were talking about different companies can't be touched.
That was a reason to go with Xbox. That was one of my main reasons.
Xbox Live can't be. Xbox Live is
synonymous with Xbox.
It's got more issues than PlayStation now.
Guys, the same thing happened at the end of the 360 era. You guys don't remember that?
No.
That's a problem, Xbox. I'm not going to defend that.
It's a last year. I'm not, crap, go ahead and do what you got to do, man. You were, swearing up and down about, the PlayStation online service and what,
it was bad back in the day. It was bad.
Going down. So, I am saying, like, there is kind of like, if you look back, there is the last year of the console. I don't know if it's from what they're doing in the background to get ready for the next gen.
Maybe they rehired Terry Myerson and he cut the budget.
No, with Microsoft, I think it has a lot to do with the constant updates, because if you look at it, the quality is still better than PSN. Don't get me wrong. It just is.
The sound quality is great on Xbox.
Xbox Live sound quality is much better than than PSN. Absolutely. But with those constant updates and the beta programs and the this and that, they want to be the jack of all trades without being the master of none, my dude. And I'm just sick of that shit, bro. Like Crap just said, that was something that Microsoft, that was part of their identity. Xbox Live, that was a big part of their goddamn identity, bro. Yep. There was nothing better than that shit.
You're describing Windows, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. Windows.
Well, let me ask this question.
I guess I am.
I got a question for J-Dubs. This is something that kind of I found alarming. And you guys know I'm not a huge Platinum Games fan. I don't really like their business ethic. I don't think they did Microsoft right with their Scalebound deal. There's a lot of stuff going on. But this is an interesting thing. And he made this comment. The comment actually was something to the extent I'm trying to see here. Hideki Kamiya, if I'm saying his name right, states that the Xbox is too foreign and far away for Japanese gamers. Now, don't take that, guys, and Xbox fans in the chat, everybody, listen, don't take that and get angry. I think you have to kind of look at this a little bit deeper.
You look at the source. You look at
the source, but you also have to, right. No, I agree with you.
You have to realize, too. Go ahead, Mooch.
My point here was that this is concerning when a lot of people are like, well, Phil's going out and Phil's bringing in JPRG. Here's the thing. He's bringing in old games. He's playing game. He's bringing games in that have been on
don't think it's just
PlayStation
old
4
games.
for a long
digital
time.
only, so there's very
Right.
little.
Right.
Yeah,
Yakuza games.
yeah, and they're digital only, and so there's very little to be lost by doing that, right?
Right.
So
yeah,
it's not
I
like
think
they're-
that the other thing is crap is there's a common consensus here
I don't
amongst the
think the new
Japanese.
Yakuza is an old game though.
I don't agree with his
Yes, it
statement, by
is.
the way.
It's been out for a year already.
Yeah, but Enrique, you know what? I want you to take the mic here because you or Jay definitely can speak to it. But I think it's alarming and a bit concerning that what he may be saying. Okay, we can sit here and look at it at the top value, and that's fine. If you guys want to say that, I'll ride with you. But I'm saying to you, if you dig a little bit deeper here, that may be the consensus amongst many Japanese developers, and that they don't feel that the Xbox reaches to their clientele. It doesn't reach maybe what they think that how they create their art is.
You mean they want to sell their game to more than 15,000 people?
Well, there's that too.
Japan,
But I mean,
because-
right? So I mean,
Yeah.
that's concerning because Phil can go over there
Crazy.
and fly over there and shake hands and kiss babies all the time. But I don't see him bringing back new IP. I don't see him bringing back anything new from them. That's
Well,
a big.
he is
gotta
bringing
think about it, though.
he is bringing stuff back, Mooch. What he's
Slow mo,
not
you
doing,
crazy.
What he's not doing is solidifying any sales over there. You know, he's not getting Microsoft any ground over there as far as console sales are concerned. Yeah, he's bringing us, the American consumer, some old games that are already on PlayStation. So if you want, you get them there if you want them, and that's cool. But he's not making any ground over there because they can't. Well, you know how I feel about the whole Japanese thing. They really don't like American companies. That my perspective on that, I don't want to get into that because, I just don't.
Yeah, but you got to think about this. Think about it this way, though, right? You got Microsoft. They have a history. The whole Xbox thing. They have a history of having issues with developers, and so it's not just Platinum Games, and it's not just that they have a problem with that territory as well. And they're not the only territory. You got to think about it. They don't launch day one in those particular territories. They kind of half-ass it. They don't make games that cater to that particular crowd. So it's just kind of just in limbo. And you got to think about it. Look at Capcom. They just came out and said only Xbox only buy like 6% of their games. So why would they continue to create games and create?
To be clear, people bought more of their games physically on Switch.
And that's a great point. And that's a great point, Jay. And that's a great point, Jay. And the reason I say that is because why did Microsoft? I don't care what they want to market. Yeah, we want to look out for you guys. We don't want to keep it out of the hands of gamers. The only gamers you're keeping shit out of the hands of are Xbox gamers. So that shit to me don't fly. So it has to say, why do second-party developers no longer want to have this relationship with Microsoft? When Donnie D was there, they did have this relationship with them, right?
Well, they were coming
synonymous.
off of a generation where they were. People were primarily gaming on that platform more. Now, at this point, the momentum, as we mentioned before, and where all the gamers are playing at is PlayStation. So, if you are
Slow-mo, they let the momentum go. They didn't have to. That's what doesn't make sense.
That happened like 7 years. They let that go 7 years ago.
Let me chime in real quick.
But we're still feeling it now.
You're going to feel it until they're able to get enough gamers to come back onto the platform, and the only way they're going to do that is they actually drop exclusive games that people can only play on an Xbox or PC.
That also includes second party deals. It just does.
All right, real quick.
Whether it's
content. Hey, speaking of the Japanese market, though, they don't really play console games anymore. They play primarily mobile and Nintendo Switch. So, and Xbox has always struggled in the Japanese market, always. With the OG Xbox, with the Xbox 360. I think the biggest thing, there's a couple things. I don't think Microsoft, and I will say this, I do think Phil is being definitely more aggressive with trying to build partnerships, but I'm not so sure that Microsoft is dropping the bag, if you will, to get some of these Japanese developers to make exclusive games on the Xbox platform like they did back in the days. You got to remember, they had Ninja Gaiden as an exclusive on the OG Xbox, which was an unproven console. Itagaki-san came up there, praised the Xbox, said
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive. The bouncing, Dead or
Alive. That was that one, but the fighting game too.
$10 million booth is
$10 million booth fixes. But not only that, but they had From Software develop a exclusive game on the OG Xbox in Atoji. they had Sega give Jet Set Radio Future, Shenmue. And then if you go to the Xbox 360,
they had BioWare,
Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, I was gonna say that crap. So they got Sakaguchi-san. The fuck,
Tales of Vesperia or whatever.
The guy was the creator of Final Fantasy. I mean, think about this. This guy is an industry icon. He made exclusive games for the 360 because they dropped the bag. And I don't think they're aggressively doing that anymore. I think they could. I could be wrong.
I mean, they are. I mean, we have to see. But I mean, they did drop the bag on Don't Nod to get an exclusive game. We'll see how big of a game that is.
But couldn't they roll up to Mistwalker, drop that bag again?
I mean, they could. I mean, would it work? I don't know.
Right now,
you know. I mean, and I think a lot of those games, like part of the appeal of the 360. I remember, like coming off the 360 from the OG Xbox and PlayStation 2. For me, at least, like when they got Mistwalker, and I was like, wow, like they're serious about bringing, like making this like platform, a platform that appeals to a broad group of gamers, right? And I don't know.
Let me ask you this though, Enrique, because JD Gamer comes back with something, and I think JD great. If I'm JD, I'm thinking this is actually a great pitch he's got here. But I want to hear what you guys on the panel think if he's right. He says, Mooch, Monster Hunter, Jump Force, DBZ, games which weren't even originally slated for Xbox, Phil is delivering new games. And shout out to WoolleyGamer, he says, rather than asking Xbox for better games, peeps are spending all their time on Twitter posting low-res images of PlayStation exclusives. Well, that's a whole other argument right there. And then Failed Pyro Master says, developers are reluctant to be under...
has one of those, by the way.
I'm sure.
Oh, dude, I love it. That's a trick well in my bag.
Failed Pyromancer says developers are reluctant to be under the Xbox umbrella because they will lose their identity if put into games with a service. That's another interesting point.
True.
It's interesting.
There was another super chat. I think we missed it.
Who was it? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's right. Oh my God, how dare I forget? Hold on, guys. Please let me go back for 1 second here. Slow-mo backslap. The great slow-mo backslap says, Forte plays with his nips every time someone mentions Destiny. I'm so sorry. Forte,
you have me cracking up when you
did that. The other thing they do on Twitter, though, is whenever you bring up the Xbox Live is down, I get, no lie, a bunch of people going, fine for me. I'm on it right now. On it right now. Fine for me. Working fine. Working great. Everything's fine. Like literally, I will get.
Yeah, it could be fine for you, but there's definitely a problem somewhere.
I get that from dude. Like dozens of people do that every time I post something about the Xbox Live problem. You must be it must be your internet crap. It's fine for me. I'm like Xbox Live. This is the official. Yeah, this is the official Xbox support saying there's a problem though, right? Oh no, it's fine for me.
Crap actually did work for me today. It was fine.
It wasn't.
It was fine. It worked.
Mine's been on all day too. So, but yeah, but the friends list doesn't load.
Well, one thing he said, which was
you got to temper expectations. Crap.
Oh God. Hey, I'm doing that. I'll be the first to admit. If anybody says temper expectations to this big supposed July event, they should get slapped because when the hell are you tempering them? When can you not?
I think this is a make or break in July. But Jay, I know you had a comment on this Platinum Games topic.
Yeah. I think back to what he said was some of those games like Monster Hunter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They weren't slated. Yes, they were. They're It's called multiplat, guys. That means it goes any and everywhere. Yeah. And it's not like these games are okay. Yes, the Yakuzas and stuff like that typically go to PlayStation because guess why? The fan base typically in the past from the Xbox side of things hadn't supported those games. So why would they do it? And so the name gets out there, that brand get out there. And I'm telling you what, this Capcom statistic that they showed with the 6%, that shows you that these guys aren't wrong. Why would you spend all this time and all our efforts to put this on there if you guys aren't going to play it anyway? So he was wrong with that. That stuff it's a multi-plat, man. It comes everywhere. So you don't get credit for that. You don't get credit for stuff that's going to your console, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, brother, Jay, when it comes down to it, this is something I said, like, when Xbox is like, we're listening to the community. I'm like, well, don't listen too much because the community will say, we want this and we want this. And, there's people that, are fighting the console wars out there and they want to take away certain things. Like, when it comes to like Japanese games, they want to take that away as an arguing point and stuff. I'm like, when it comes down to it, make sure your platform has a direction. Listen to the community, but don't stray away from your direction. Don't have it be completely community based, because you're going to invest in things that the community will be like, you know what? I don't really want that. That's not what I was talking about.
The community is too
here's the problem. Here's the problem. In order to get people to go over to the Xbox ecosystem, not everybody is a shooter person. So if you want these people to come over to your platform, you have to offer something and that's something that Sony has kind of thrived in over this generation. They offer something from everybody, even if it's a small game, even if it's a JRPG.
I'm still looking for their first party multiplayer focus games, man. I haven't seen those.
Yeah, but those games don't even thrive on Xbox, so it doesn't matter,
Oh, damn, man.
Like you need something to offer, and I get it. Phil, Microsoft in the past, they're like, if you don't sell X amount of copies, then you can't have that attitude, because just because a game may not hit the benchmark the first time, who's to say it won't hit the benchmark and blow it out the water the next time? Look at Uncharted.
Sequels are usually the ones that do that. It's not usually the first game.
But Microsoft has in the past has given up on those sequels. We didn't get a Sunset Overdrive 2. We didn't get a Rise on the Rome 2 and all these other games.
I've been on the front lines with before Insomniac got acquired and everything like that. I had been saying that Sunset Overdrive 2 needs to be in development. When it comes down to it, all they had to do was make the campaign co-op. That's all they had to do.
Insomniac was basically begging.
Right, exactly, Brad.
All we need is a publisher. That's all we need, and this game will be out the door. And Microsoft did not cut their check.
Alan Wake as well. They were like, "Hey, Alan Wake too." They begged Phil. They begged him, and the man, yeah.
Why hasn't Microsoft scooped up Crytek yet? I mean, it's a lot of stuff that Microsoft.
Well, with Crytek, you also got to buy an engine with that, man.
Speaking of Rise, ever since that demo with the PS5, I've seen Rise Son of Rome on my timeline every single day.
Yeah.
Guys, let me just point this out while there's a bunch of people here. If you're still having to go back 7 years to bring up a launch title for the Xbox One to say it still holds up or looks good, that means you've got nothing newer to really compare it with, and that's what my argument's been the entire time. Yeah. Yes, Rise still does look good, but there should have been 20 more titles. 20 more titles that look better than that by now from Microsoft's first party, or at least third party. They don't have to do everything the way Sony does, right? Sony's got that great. They could have bought it. They could have bought games at any point in time.
I don't know, my dude. There ain't too many first-party Microsoft jump-offs that look better than Rise, to be honest with you. Maybe some third-party joints like Red Dead and Doom and shit.
That's part of a problem.
But first-party joints, there ain't too many that look better than Rise, and that's the truth. Besides,
Fred says State of Decay 2. Shout out to Sir X-Man real quick. He says, I believe he's saying the Japanese developers also bought the mech games with the large controller and outsold Americans buying that game. That is the truth. JD Gamer says, J-Dub identified an issue. Xbox wasn't launching at the same time worldwide, and the games from Xbox weren't localized for non-English markets. This is something that Phil says won't be happening again, I'm sure.
Hooray, but let me tell you why that's not going to matter, because Xbox has no presence anywhere outside of the UK and North America. It 100% doesn't matter. And I'll also point this out.
When they release that xCloud, though, for all the mobile people,
Xbox. I heard the same thing when they released Game Pass in Japan. And then they sold 15 Xboxes there last month. So, yeah, I don't really think that like this. And you realize Sony's going to have that cloud streaming solution
xCloud
too.
Caters more.
Plain and simple.
Sony's going to have.
Japan is not going to endorse anything from North America. Plain and simple.
Yeah, look, Sony's going to have their own xCloud. And who do you think Japanese people are going to play? xCloud with Xbox games or some alternative with PlayStation games? They're going to pick the PlayStation games. Man, ain't nobody over there going to play Crackdown 3.
I am so happy that you said Sony is going to have their own xCloud. It is good to see you.
I mentioned that 2 years ago, man. I knew somebody who was an MVP or whatever who was
having it for 2 generations already.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew an MVP who was testing that out. I mentioned that year. Mooch, don't you remember me mentioning that years ago? Like I knew that was going to.
Nobody listened to us, crap.
Yeah, they're going to do the same thing. But as far as like I could tell with this whole situation. I think I saw some kind of statistic where Sony in Europe, all of Europe has like a 30 million console lead over there. Yeah. Right. They have a 5 million plus console lead here. Yeah. I could see maybe here getting closer, but I don't see that changing across the. Like I was there And I look at now how people damage. Oh, wait till they get Game Pass in there. Wait till China starts selling their consoles. And I was one of those people that was saying that stuff. And now I look at how ridiculous that sounds. And I'm like, why the hell was I saying such stupid stuff? It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Xbox ain't selling in China or Japan or all over Europe. It ain't happening.
It's not happening.
It's not.
I mean, the 360 did in Europe.
Especially the way that console is designed, that big console. They don't like big stuff like that.
Yeah.
JD Gamer says, JD Gamer.
You guys are professionals on all these other countries, man.
Well, it's not. Listen, unlike but Xbox, this is what we were saying earlier. Numbers are numbers. They tell us the truth, and the numbers show that Asia and European markets.
Europe, they flip flop from generation to generation.
No, the only thing you're talking about is the UK. The UK has bounced back and forth between PlayStation and Xbox, but not Europe as a whole. No.
Yeah. Why do we do this with consoles?
What is it, Pred?
Why do we do this with consoles where we compare like sales like this, but we don't do this shit with anything else? Like we don't compare sales of cars. What car sells better in what country? We don't compare what phone sells better in what country. Why do we only do this with consoles? Why does it matter to us? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, the same reason,
if you do look at cars, like Japanese cars sell very well too, bro.
Yeah,
like,
but don't nobody compare.
I don't have a podcast about
well, we're not really. Well, we're not. Listen. Yeah, but there are car podcasts that discuss.
Hey, I saw a non-super chat thing. I just want to reiterate that this is a brilliant analogy. Captain Crunch says crap is like a fingernail scratching a painful scab to some people here. And that's exactly it. Like people are like, crap sucks, mute crap. It's like, because the minute I say something truthful that there's no way to rebut, it's just crap sucks, mute him. You know what I mean? Like it's absolutely ridiculous that we live in that. Like nobody can sit there and have if you don't agree with me, let's talk about it. Fine. Right. But everybody's just like, cut it off, cut him off. He sucks, blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. Come on, get out of here.
Have a good conversation. Forte, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, so the question I have is, because we all talk about, because most people already know Xbox isn't going to outsell PlayStation. It's just kind of crazy to even think that because it's a worldwide brand. What is going to be the determination of the estimate of sales that's going to say Xbox truly just failed next generation?
I think if
we put numbers out there saying that last time I checked, 40 to 50 million systems not failing. It may not live up to the expectation of what people think is great. But what's considered failing in you guys' eyes next generation for Xbox?
Okay, let me tell you.
Forte and Slow-Mo were a great addition tonight. That's all I gotta say.
Microsoft predicted to sell 200 million consoles this generation. They said that with their own mouths. So if you tell me 40 million or 50 million is great, then okay, then take that up with Microsoft. That was their own benchmark. Now here's the thing: we're comparing this generation to last generation. Where were they last generation when they finished the console cycle? 86. They were around 80 to 90 million. Well, now they're half of that, right? That install base is left. So next generation, they're going to have to gain another 40 million people to go over to their ecosystem in order to be back to where they were. By that time, 14 years ago, with the 360.
Mm-hmm. It's a failure. I'll say Forte, it's a failure because Microsoft treated it like a failure. They packed it up. And that's all I need. And that's all I need to know.
And that's the thing. Agreeing with you on that whole situation where it's a failure. I'm just trying to say we up here talking about how Xbox is going to fail and lose next generation.
I think they'll lose worse next gen than they did this.
We already know that they're not going to outsell PlayStation just because
Predator's right. They've
next generation.
Well, Forte, to answer your question, Pred, go ahead and say that again because you nailed it.
I think they just have to close the gap. They're not going to outsell them, but they can at least make that gap.
But close the gap.
They possibly should have came out with a console that isn't the most, the console that realistically is the most optional console in the history of next generations. Let's just be real.
They lost their home territory.
They don't have to close the gaps in terms of sale. At least, in my opinion, anyway. Like they're never going to catch up to Sony in sales. I don't think they are because Sony outsold them even when they launched last with a more expensive system and did whatever nonsense they had to do. And Sony still outsold them last gen. So it doesn't matter, my dude. My thing is, if they want to close the gap, like Pred said, which is the truth, close it in terms of offering the same type of variety that Sony offers because I can't really.
That's not going to do it. I can tell you right now, that's not going to do it.
I think it'll do it.
That's not going to do it.
Why
Well,
not? Why not?
They're already doing that.
Hey, guys,
They're
They're
already
already doing that in variety right now.
Let me ask. Like, I think at the end of the day, though, like they'll probably never be market leader. Maybe not. Maybe
No,
they will.
They never will. They never will.
But at the very least, for me as a gamer, I'm happy if they put out better content from first party.
Yes,
they're trying, and I think that's exactly
that's
what's gonna happen. And when it comes down to it, they're looking for mind share right now. When it comes down to it, I told you guys, the launch of these systems, if for some rhyme or reason the Series X just all of a sudden starts flying off the shelves, they're not gonna be like, oh no, guys, wait, we're looking for mind share here, but they're looking for steady improvement going forward. That's exactly what they're looking for. They're seeing it.
People keep thinking about the Series X being the thing that's going to do it. I just don't think that system's going to do it. I just think
Series S.
You said S. Oh, you said S. I thought you said X.
Well, no. I actually that's why I put it in a form of a question. I said Series X. But do you think Series S is going to be?
Listen, the only way.
Hold on, let Forte speak.
The only way they're going to even compete next generation is with a 2-system SKU. They're not going to do it with a system that's the same price because no one cares about. Most people don't care about the power enough to say I'm gonna buy a system like Xbox over a brand name like PlayStation.
It's not the hardware, Forte. It has nothing to do with the hardware. It's about games. It's about having
It's always been about games.
Have a first-party game.
That's what I'm saying. The games are tied to that. So when you think PlayStation, you're thinking, okay, they got games. The other platform, they have games too, but I can play more different games on PlayStation. It's just a perception at this point. On top of that, is available in more territory. So who cares if the system is more powerful and you can play the games are 90% of the games are on the same system? That doesn't matter. They need an ace in the hole that's going to be a cheaper option. That's why I think they need to really talk about this other system sooner rather than later, because this is what I foresee happening coming up in the next couple of months when these systems finally get released, and if they're going to release them both at the same time, this is what's going to happen. I don't think you're going to find any regular Xbox Xbox One S's. You're not going to see any X's on the shelf. If both these systems, if X comes out at $500, PlayStation 5 comes out at $400, and they have this rumored Lockhart comes out at $299, people are going to buy up. They're going to buy up whatever is available. $299 is a really fucking cheap price for a system.
They don't. You're not seeing the Xbox on the shelf right now.
Especially if it's the only system available.
Forte talking sense right now.
No, hold up. If they don't have any interest in any games that are on that platform, and the games that they do have interest in, they're already on the PlayStation that they're already invested in. They're not going to buy a cheaper option. Just because it's cheap.
Right.
There are plenty of.
Hold up.
I'm gonna keep saying my point. You can stop. You can keep trying to interject.
Go ahead,
you ain't
Slow-Mo.
listening, but you're gonna hear what I gotta say. So look, you can come out with a cheaper option, and it doesn't have any games that are differentiated to the point where it's a must-have game.
Agreed.
That PlayStation doesn't have. Then people are just going to let it collect dust on the shelves. We see plenty of cheap cell phones being sold for $300, $400, $500. Nobody buys them. They buy the iPhones and the Samsung S's that are over $1,000. Why? Because they're better quality and they don't give a crap about a cheap phone that doesn't do anything.
It's not always the least common denominator.
That's what I'm saying is about games. They have to have a killer app. They have to have. It doesn't have to be a AAA game, but it has to be a game that PlayStation gamers go, damn. Like I really want to play that.
I gotta have it.
I gotta play that. Whether I play it on PC or I go get an Xbox Series S, I gotta get that.
Forte, I'm gonna
have that game yet.
Forte, I'm gonna give you the mic. I'm way behind on my super chats. JD Gamer here says we're way back on. JD Monster Hunter was not slated for Xbox. Go read about it. You're wrong. I don't. Well, there you go, JD. A little homework assignment for you there later on. Fail Pyromancer. Fail Pyromancer says Alan Wake needs co-op. Thank you, Fail Pyromancer. Appreciate that. And then I got a couple of big chats there. JD Gamer being an outstanding member and awesome in the community for these super chats. He says, I don't agree with you, crap. I'll take it further. Console sales of next gen won't predict which company makes more money as a service, and game sales make more money. I predict xCloud will have mass penetration within 10 years. That's a long time frame to call out. And then
won't even be around in 10 years, so he's wrong.
Well, that's another subject there. And then Eagles fan 76 says, you guys are going off this gen for console sale. Xbox could sell less consoles next gen and still make more money. The new metric will be active users in their system, PC, xCloud, Game Pass, and console.
But yet more people are active on the PlayStation, and it's just one platform. So, yeah.
Listen,
Right.
Microsoft is chasing the 2 billion gamers, and they can't get 60 million gamers. I don't know. Maybe they'll be successful. I don't know. But I want to see the games, because at the end of the day, it's all about the games. No hardware is going to make you buy it without the games. Simple.
Yo, shout out to Optimus Code. Optimus Code in the super chat comes in and says both Forte and Slow-Mo are correct. 2 different gamer types. Forte is right for casuals. Slow-Mo is right for hardcore. Code, I want to say this much, though. I almost have to, and I wish Code was here, because me and Code had some great back and forth. I'm a little bit more on Slow-Mo side here, because here's the thing. Forte is right for casuals, but where Slow-Mo capitalizes and kind of like steps right over that line is, if there's no killer app, it could be as cheap as you want. There's nothing driving you to make the purchase.
There's no appeal. There's no appeal to buy it.
Right. That's where Slow-Mo trumps it.
And even if they do buy it, they don't buy any games for it. Therefore, it's a net loss for Microsoft, because what's the purpose? They don't care about you really buying the hardware, because they're only getting a marginal amount of money out of that. They want you to buy software for that hardware.
But yo, what Mooch was saying before with like the Madden players, me and Mooch had this discussion earlier in the show. Now imagine if like a group of Madden players was like, damn, we can still play Madden and we only have to pay $2.99 for a system. Then moving forward,
they're gonna keep their X. Simple.
Oh yeah.
Those people are gonna keep the console.
Okay, so what about all these people? What about all these people out right now looking for systems that can't find them?
That's because there's a pandemic. This is not conducive to what's going to happen when this pandemic is
I
over.
said this holiday. I said this holiday. This is what's going to happen. I didn't say this was going to be a long term.
This is not going to happen this holiday. The most any of these platforms has sold in April ever.
Wait, Forte.
Let me talk first. God damn it!
No, you're not going to talk. No, you're not. Forte, you have lost credibility. You have lost credibility, sir. When you said that Unreal Engine 5 demo was not next gen, or did
this is not going to happen,
and that Tomb Raider on PC looked better than that, you have lost credibility, sir.
Yeah, y'all made Forte leave, man. Hold on, let me get him back. Let me go find him.
Get Forte back.
Come on, Forte, don't stop.
Did he really leave?
He's
maybe he got cut out. Maybe he got cut out.
He might have got cut out. We'll get Forte back. I mean, but Code came back and said, as long as there's Madden and 2K, there is that. All right, Code, nice rebuttal. I'm not
exactly what I said, Code.
Yeah.
How many Xbox One S's SKUs is that going to really sell? Like, to make a big difference. Like,
to the casual gamer, the casual gaming community is the mass majority.
Is Madden or 2K crossplay right now?
No.
I gotta check the list.
It doesn't matter, because the majority of people want to play where their friends play, which is going to be on PlayStation.
But true. I mean,
that's going to sell on the Xbox, as it always does. But
it just takes the first person in the crew to be like, you know what? Instead of spending all them hundreds, I saved some money and I got this, and I'm going to play on this, and then the rest of the crew is going to do the same thing.
Until they leave his ass behind, and then that won't be the case.
I mean, if we're gonna talk hypotheticals, man, I'm gonna throw out hypotheticals. Yeah.
But what's not hypothetical is that if there's no crossplay, then you're relying on people convincing their group.
If you listen to the third party,
to stop using one platform, give up their digital library, and go to another platform just because it's $100 cheaper.
Well, and again, we're talking about the people who only buy like a couple games per year anyway, and most of the time it's just the next year's iteration of that same game. That quote unquote that type of casual gamer. And when it comes down to it,
and every now and then those kind of gamers see something big like Spider-Man and they buy that game.
Every now and then. That doesn't.
There's not a
AAA
game first party that drops like every other month.
Forte made a good point there, man.
You don't need to be cheaper to be better, my dude. You don't. To me, Microsoft having a cheaper option kind of washes their shit out. Like it washes it down. I don't like it. I really don't.
You know, and I got to agree with Knox, but
offering, yes,
a lot of people have a hard time explaining it. I do too, Knox. I have the same hard time explaining it. There's something about when, I don't know how to put it this way, but like when a game is, let's say, Game Pass, right? Versus a time when you're like, oh, you know what? I went out and spent $60 on this game. You go spend $60 on that game. It's a AAA game, big exclusive, has a midnight release. It's a big deal, you know? And I mean, and Forte knows this better than anybody, is that like big midnight releases, that vibe that's in the store, that money you put out of your pocket, you go home, you're like, I got to play this. And right now with social media, it feels so impactful. When you have a cheaper product, I'm not saying this is for everybody. This is not for everybody. I'm just saying, I think that some people will listen to what I'm saying and go, I do feel what you're feeling, Mooch. It's just that sometimes when you're given it, or it's free, or it's part of a package, or like gym memberships, right? There's like Planet Fitness that are up and down the East Coast, right? You go to Planet Fitness, it's $1 a month, $1 to start, $10 a month. But then all these other companies that are bigger gyms, they're still charging $20, $25 a month. You know why? They get a better product. They're not even. You know what I mean?
Pay for Mooch. That's
exactly. You know, better machinery, better coaches, better facility, better swimming pool, better basketball court, right? So you put in that extra money and you get that. And I think sometimes when you have these cheaper consoles, I'm not saying all the time, but I feel like sometimes when you have these cheaper things, it's like people go, well, they're going to run to the cheap thing. Well, maybe, but there's a large portion of people when they pull their wallet out, they want, like Slow-Mo said, they want that quality product. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that excitement and that hype. And I don't necessarily think just because you slap a cheaper price tag on it, it doesn't mean that you're going to get people to like just rambunctiously run through the door to go buy it. I don't know. And I feel what you're saying. It's hard to put into words, guys. And believe me, I love to talk, but it is a difficult thing to sell because people are like, Mooch, you're full of it. That's not the way it works. Well, think about it when you pull your wallet out the next time on what you put your hard-earned money down on. Usually it's a quality product, or you
Mooch,
prefer to.
You got different groups of people, though, man.
A super chat real quick, bro.
No, we got so real quick. I want to make sure I cover them all. I see them. I got here from Sir X-Man. He says, how come when I'm on the show, it's all calm and cool? Sir X-Man, you bring that calm, cool feeling to the show, man. We miss you. We got to get Sir X-Man back on here. JD Gamer says, Call of Duty sells more than Madden and it's crossplay. That's very true. And then Emmanuel A says, Knox is lame. Why are you crying if you don't like Xbox? Shout out to Emmanuel.
I like Xbox, my dude. I spend more money on my Xbox than you probably spend on your wardrobe, my G. You feel me? Are you serious?
Wow.
I like Xbox, and that's why I say the shit I say. Whatever, man. I
don't know. Chauncey says otherwise. Chauncey says otherwise.
Chauncey's a fanboy of PlayStation, so you know he is what he is.
That's awesome, man. No, that's great. I think that
my G. It's all good. It's all love. It's all love, Emmanuel.
It's all good. It's all good. Shout out to JD Gamer. Says when you pay more, you get that status and premium feel, but the mass majority of people, cheaper is better and will always sell more.
Yeah, you got different demographics out there. Like Mooch, you're a part of a certain demographic in that way, but you can't really pull a whole community.
I'm not pulling anybody.
But no, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
There are going to be people that feel the way you do. There are going to be people that feel that, you know.
Well, that's
if I can get in. If I could get in cheaper, I'm going to get in cheaper.
But Xbot, that's my point, though.
Times and stuff like that.
That's what I wanted to bring up. And your Xbot is 100% right. There are different pools. There's different people who have different feelings and how they spend their money and how they want and how they feel when they spend their money. But what I'm saying is that it just seems like the general consensus all the time on social media is just that, like, well, if it's cheaper, it's going to be better. It's better for me. Well, the thing is, nobody's like, I can't wait to go spend $200 more than market value. But they do. People like Slow-Mo said, why are people made fun of Apple? Like that's the thing that gets me about people that hate Apple. That's fine. If you don't like Apple, it's fine. Mr. Steve Jobs. Shout out to Steve Jobs. But I mean, I got to be honest with you. When Apple announced, I think it was the iPhone 11, maybe it was even the one prior, and it was like it was going to be $1,000. I think it was the 10, and they said it was going to be $1,000. Oh, that's the end. I'm done. No one's buying this shit. They bought it in droves. They bought it in droves. Like, so Slow-Mo made a great point. So it's not necessarily just because you hear people like tweet it and hit send, that doesn't mean that's how they're actually spending their money. You know what I mean? If it gets, sometimes people tweet just to get likes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to actually look at what people are buying. And at the end of the day, people are buying Sony's product.
Mooch, and people,
hold on real quick, man.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead,
All right, no, just something real quick to Mooch, because Mooch brought up like Twitter and everything like that, and this is something I've been trying to tell my brother K Mega. You got to recognize the pool that you're in when it comes to social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're pulling out, these groups said this person said this, it's like, well, think about the pool of people that are around you on social media, and if you're hanging around where there's a bunch of extremists, one side just completely yelling for that side, the other side just completely yelling for that side, you're getting the extremes of both sides, and you're not getting the full scope of what the community is really talking about and what they're thinking. And that's something I try to tell like I said, my brother K Mega as well.
Shout out to One Bad Mother. He says, different types of customers, Mooch, different price and performance options widen the net they cast to the marketplace. No, One Bad, I get that. But a lot of times, just like Xbox just said, depending on which pool you're swimming in and who you're hanging out with, that does influence yourself a bit. But you got to understand, on social media, that seems to be like the cool thing to just hit, like tweet. It's like, as long as there's a Lockhart, I'm in, tweet. Lockhart's going to cut PS5 by $200. I'm buying that. I'm buying 4 of them. Tweet. And it's like, that's not necessarily what you're doing when you go to the store.
By saying that, I could just imagine.
We saw how well having a cheaper console worked for Microsoft. They've had the cheaper console for 3-4 years now, and it hasn't helped them one iota, right? I keep hearing this. Microsoft is going to have this. They're going to have, dude, they've had Game Pass for years, the most powerful console for years, the cheapest console for years, game sharing, game gifting,
xCloud.
xCloud.
Those are all great things, though.
They've play anywhere. They've literally had all these quote unquote advantages for years, and they're in dead last place still. And
hey, crap. To your point, who doesn't have any of that stuff? Crap. Who doesn't have any of that stuff?
Who?
Nintendo.
Exactly. Well, Nintendo.
And what are they doing right now? They're dominating the industry.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. They cater. They listen. That's what happens when you cater to what your fans want. It's crazy how that where you listen to the fans and boom, you get rewarded as a company. It's crazy how that works, right?
I don't know if Nintendo really does that though. Crap.
I mean, listen, they're fans. Those hardcore fans, they love that same. The Marios and the Zeldas.
I think they take it and eat it. I think they take their gamer friend request by phone nonsense for $20 a year. I think they just eat that shit because of the quality of their games. They eat that nonsense, and that is why the quality of your games is what sets the tone for your reputation, your identity, and your platform. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said though, they didn't pull a Microsoft. Now, if they just started coming out with a bunch of realistic M-rated games, that would be a complete departure, and probably they would lose a lot of what they've gained up. Yeah, exactly. Like they stick to what they know. They keep it simple, and people like that. Microsoft, man, right from the start. Like I said, I was with them. That was where I got into this online gaming stuff. Actually, the Dreamcast was where I got that start. I felt like the Xbox was really kind of like the Dreamcast 2, in my opinion. And, they just had these hardcore games, man. You were playing like the Brute Force and Shenmue 2, and they were playing all these amazing, even the first Forza and Halo, and, and then exactly. And then the 360, and they had Mass Effect, and, BioShock was an exclusive for a year, and they had the first Gears of War was mind blowing. Back when Gears of War was phenomenal, now I'm going back and trying to clean up some of these games that I started. I've started over on Gears of War 5, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, this is the most boring piece of crap I've ever played. How is this a Gears of War game? Like how not only that, but I've been posting to Twitter so people don't think I'm lying. All the glitches months later that I'm still finding, right? Having that stupid robot follow you around and just was the dumbest idea. I hope they totally scrapped that idea.
Was awful.
Right?
That was awful.
That skiff was the stupidest idea. All it is padding time onto the game.
Well,
right? Let's be real. You don't really have any exploration. It's stupid, right? Get back to just
cool, though.
Get back at no. For me, the robot never does. Like, it gets stuck in the floor, gets stuck over. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
No. I'm talking about having the bot once.
Well, hold on, Noxon. We don't have a lot of time. I just want to get don't lose that track of thought. We can come back to it, but I just want to shout out to Mr. Miracle. He says Xbox could double their sales next gen and still be 20 million behind. Mindshare won't save them. But here's the thing, and Nox, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I gotta talk about this. I gave an example. Okay, there's 2 or 3 people in the chat that are yelling at me like we're in 2nd grade and they're my teacher. They're like, Mooch didn't tell the truth. I said all I was trying to give an example was, my example was that Apple came out and presented their phone for $1,000. The internet was on fire. The internet went on fire. How dare they charge $1,000 for their cheapest phone and then $1,100 and then $1,200? I think it was for the 10, right? Because I got people saying, Mooch, that's a horrible analogy. Apple sells a fraction of the total phone sales. And then someone says, Mooch has just told a lie. Well, I just using an example that when people say that something's expensive and they're not going to buy it, that's not necessarily how they act when they go to the store. That's all I'm trying to get a point across. I don't have Apple's like quarterly sales in front of me. Tim Cook didn't call me a half hour ago. I'm not flying over there to film the new phone this September. I don't know that. Thank you. But nonetheless, Optimus Code in the chat, he says, games are like a beautiful woman. The more beautiful she is, the more you're willing to keep her happy. She just makes you feel so good. PlayStation is full of beautiful women. Shout out to Code. He's a poet too. Who would have known?
Hey, that's a good analogy.
It's a great analogy. WoolleyGamer says 10 million subs to Game Pass, 10 million copies sold on PlayStation exclusives. It takes 5 to 6 months for Game Pass to catch up to that net profit. PlayStation exclusives release often. Sony knows what they're doing. And Ben Link says, hey guys, just want you to know this is the only podcast I can't miss every week. Love the show. Ben, we love you. Thank you. And Hollow Mocha says, next topic, Mooch. I'm glad you said that because I got 2 more to squeeze into 2 minutes. Crap. You're Mr. VR. What is going on? Iron Man VR is absolutely in fuego, I'm hearing. Is that demo the real deal?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess some people are going to have a little bit of problems with some of the flying mechanics. I didn't really, notice anything like that, but I do think that this could be, it's another one of those games that could help put VR in people's homes, and I think it's a great option. And, I never think VR will be like a common thing or take over for regular gaming, but man, it's nice to see like people talking about it and excited by it. And, they're also doing this other bundle like in the UK and they're trying to get people to buy it. I think they dropped the ball. They should have created a specific Iron Man VR helmet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a custom one or something. Right. I think that would have been fantastic. I think they really dropped the ball. They should have done something like that. I thought it would have been cool, but it's a perfect fit. I think it's amazing. And, I'm looking forward to actually playing the full game as well. Again, when it comes to PlayStation, they eat good over there. It's like everything you want, the AA's, the AAA's, the VR, the stuff in between. They got it all. It's fantastic.
Well, I
did mention, you want content first. You want this first. You got that first. Like literally, they got
it's
everything.
Non-stop crap.
You mean variety? You mean variety?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm gonna say his name wrong, but Bookster 1919, which I did. I apologize. I was scroll. I hate the scroll. I can't stand it. Whenever you scroll down in the chat, it always skips. It like jumps down. He says Microsoft has a monopolistic history. They won't give up. So Bookster, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I missed it earlier. Yeah, we'll find out about that. That's to be determined next generation. And then of course, we kind of talked about it when we talked about all the games. I really did want to get into the Silent Hill reboot, which is the PT rumor that Sony may have acquired an exclusive right. They didn't, pardon me, let me rephrase that. The rumor even states that they didn't buy the IP, but they've gotten permission and working with Konami. I don't know if any of you guys have dug a little deeper into this, but I thought it was interesting that they may be bringing the PT game back to life. Which has been just it's been like this like folktale,
Actually,
right?
the article I read said it had no relation to Kojima or the PT demo if they do go through with it.
See, I heard it had no
Well, I
relation to
certainly
Silent
hope-
Hill.
Well, I certainly hope that they're not relying on Konami to make it, because at this point, Konami is
No,
is
Konami's
right
not
in
involved, Slow-Mo, according to the rumor.
Oh, good, because
They're making Pachinko machines, Slow-Mo.
So
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like a Silent Hill reboot, right?
Yeah. If you're expecting PT, stop it. Don't expect that.
Last
shit.
thing I heard, it was more like a soft reboot. In other words, they're going to continue with the story, but you'd be able to jump in and play this one if it's your first one.
Nah.
If the rumors are true.
Hey, crap. Oh, my God. I just saw your 2-pack date.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's funny. Go ahead.
Hey, it's
What the hell was that,
Sorry.
crap?
Yeah,
no,
what
I'm
the
just,
hell is
I'm just a little coughing on.
All right. Well, let me say this. Sir X-Man.
Y'all
Shout out to
being
Sir
messy.
X-Man. Sir X-Man says Microsoft.
It is messy, but I'm sorry. Like, you know what? Like, wait, what? Look, I've been on lockdown for a long time. You find humor in the small things, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Sir X-Man again. He says Microsoft's problem is that they don't let people know all the great features they have. All they talk about is Game Pass. If people knew more, they might buy. Something really that a lot of people should sit down and take in and understand. I think that Sir X-Man makes a good point. Xbox does provide so much, but they're so invested right now, and they probably have to be for the money that they've put out into Game Pass. And I don't know if Game Pass is reaching the casuals. 10 million sounds like a lot. Again, using Xbox.
Wasn't it 10 million? I saw people reporting it was 10 million a year before that, or
Oh yeah,
a year and a half.
10
You know what I
million,
mean? Like,
yeah, it's 100 million.
so
yeah.
like, come on. We don't know the extent of it or anything like that. So I take all that stuff.
Oh,
with it, that's all.
hell no.
One bad mother says Slow-Mo, death not an option. Konami or Frostbite.
Is maiming an option? Can I just maim? Can I do
Slow-Mo,
that?
I heard Frostbite's making a comeback this gen.
Okay. How about it just keeps up with the rest of the game engines that actually work? That would be great, if it actually worked.
Everybody likes a game engine that makes everybody look like they're plastic.
Exactly. Like, great, amazing, photorealistic environment.
I remember when I played
characters look like they're from
that shit
90s
ruined,
Saturday morning cartoons.
Dragon Age 3 for me, right? I was like, I couldn't even finish that. Dragon Age, one of my favorite series on the 360. Couldn't even finish that on it. They all look so plastic and fake. Plus that whole thing, another rift.
Yo, shout out to Ben Lick for becoming a Mooch Maniac. I appreciate that, guys. Please do consider joining the channel.
And that was the
Buttons right
best
above the
Frostbite
description.
game.
It was.
That was the best Frostbite game. Like, you didn't
Facts.
even play Andromeda and Anthem. Good grief.
Oh
I
my
played
God.
Andromeda. I beat Mass Effect.
Unfortunately,
Andromeda.
I played
Hey,
both
but
of those.
Slow-Mo, Anthem
Unfortunately.
did look good though, man. It was a good looking game.
Anthem looks amazing.
Anthem's
with
beautiful.
their suits on. When you see them
Yeah.
without their suits, they look like
Plastic?
melted GI Joes. So
They look like dildos.
Oh. Enrique
man.
had to sneak one in there at the end. Guys, listen, it's over 9. It's past 9 o'clock here. Memorial Day weekend. Sir X-Man says 360 version of Code Veronica on Xbox. Wow. Shout out to all you guys. Ben Link, thank you for becoming a new member of the channel. I appreciate that, guys. It means the world to me. You're not part of the family. I appreciate that.
Good chat
Guys,
today.
Outstanding chat.
that will be
Outstanding
great for
panel.
next time.
You guys are all amazing. I do want to give a shout out real quick. J-Dub City had a bounce. He had to take care of something. He just said, Mooch, I got to leave. So do check out J-Dub. I'm going to put his information up on the screen right now. So shout out to Jay, and thanks for being here. Jay will be on the show again sometime real soon. And then I'll go over to my buddy here, Predator H2O. Pred, I got to be honest with you, man. You really got in there, and you threw a couple of punches. Exactly what I thought you'd do. Pred, it's great to have you, man. Let people know where they can find you. And we will have you on again real soon.
Always great to be on with you guys, man. This week, Saturday, tomorrow, next podcast. So make sure you guys tune into that, and I guess see you guys around somewhere.
Appreciate that, Pred. Thank you. Then I got Slow-Mo, Backstab. Slow-Mo, honestly, the one-liners, the terms, the conditions you put out there, it makes people think, man. That's what I love about you. And I really wanted to get into, I had it as a subject. You saw it. I sent it out earlier. I really wanted to get into it. Guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about 343 and dive into not necessarily anything wrong, but there is a bit of cause for concern. If you don't believe me, the information's up right now. I'll let Slow-Mo talk a little bit about it. But do check out
Mooch,
Slow-Mo's
you've been
YouTube channel.
concerned for like 2 years now, bro.
I have been concerned. I'm a little concerned. I'm not going to lie, but I'll let Slow-Mo talk about it. He did a great job in his video. Slow-Mo, thanks for being here, buddy. And let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, hey, look, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter at the same name, Slow-Mo Backslap. And in particular, the video that Mooch is talking about, I did a video about 343 Industries and their development of Halo Infinite and what my concerns are. And you would think that, oh, you're concerned about whether it's going to be a good game. I am concerned about that, but the majority of my concerns is something that we have seen consistently with 343 over the years, is that they launch, whether it's a remaster, a remake, or a brand new game, the game launch is broken and they need to cut the crap. That stuff needs to stop. And Halo Infinite cannot launch broken. The launch is broken. It's going to affect the reviews, its Metacritic score, whether people decide to play the game longer than 3 weeks or not, or even bother. Like, all this kind of stuff is like things that they need to nail down. And I am kind of like up to the top of my 6'3" frame when it comes to 343 and allowing these kind of like really ridiculous bugs into their games. The stuff's got the end. You got like a 600-700 number developer studio. How do you not have enough people dedicated to Q&A to get these really common sense bugs out and not game breaking bugs still in the game? It's ridiculous.
And this game too, Slow-Mo, just to kind of get into it a little bit, the game literally is only 2 years really in development, right? They started over in 2018 is what I've heard. So it's not a 5-year development. So there's a lot of cost.
And a part of the reason why it took so long also was that they're developing a brand new game engine around that. So like that also adds into the development process. A lot of these other games that come out in like 3 years, they're using Unreal Engine where a lot of the work has already been done for them. They're doing Slipspace Engine, and they're also making a game, and they're also trying to fix all the other issues that they created with their previous titles. And also they're just their process of getting these games out and saying it's ready to go gold. It's not ready to go gold when the game is broken. It's not, period. So stop going gold when you're not ready yet. Like whatever it is they need to fix in that process, that stuff needs to get ironed out before it launches. If it needs to be delayed, so be it. But this is your biggest Halo game in the history of Halo. You need to make sure it's ready to go.
That's right. No, and guys, do check out that video. Slow-Mo, you really get into it. And I really wanted to kind of discuss that, especially with Xbox 448 here. But shout out to Ola Mocha 17 with a great question. Pred, did you buy Predator? He wants to know if Predator bought Predator. It's a legit question.
I did not buy that game. Sorry.
The answer is hell no. All right. So
he's saving his money for Ghost. Yeah.
Then I got my buddy here who's
you mean Goat or Tsushima?
Goat.
No, Ghost.
Yes.
Yes, it's Grab.
It's getting around all over the place, man.
Shout out to Brap. Brap has literally got one finger ready to pop on Warzone as we speak. Brap. Enrique, let people know where they can find you, buddy, and thanks for being here tonight.
All I'm gonna say is woo. Hey, by the way, seriously, great podcast. And by the way, we are gonna have a special Brap tomorrow. We're gonna have Paul from Red Gaming Tech on.
Nice.
Talk about next generation console hardware and next generation games and some PC stuff. So definitely want to check that out. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And come on and hang out with us. It's gonna be a great time. And Mooch, as always a pleasure. And let's get on some Warzone. And Crap, you have an idea for a new t-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking. I've got many. Like I said, the one where it's like wait till E3 with it crossed out for the past 5 years, and now wait for the July. That's one that I've really been putting a lot of time and effort into. And there's so many. You know what I mean? Like I just think Xbox is kind of set you up for that kind of stuff, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. So. Anyway, it's not my turn to do an outro yet, so go ahead, Mooch.
Appreciate that, buddy. And then shout out to Sir X. He says, Mooch, you should be on next podcast. I would love to be on next podcast. Not tomorrow, I'm not home at that time, but I would love to be on next podcast. You like that, Xbot? I just plugged myself on the show.
Sir X, man, I think you got a good idea, but trying to nail Mooch down for a Saturday night,
it's not easy.
It's insanely hard.
It is easy. It's a little easy. It's a little easier during the pandemic, but you're right. It is difficult. I'm not even home tomorrow night, but that is true, Xbot. I can't wait to be on Next again because Next is just energetic. It's fun of energy. It's full of energy.
I want to hear another debate tomorrow, man.
You might get one, man. You might get one. You know me. I try to dig deep when it comes to topics, brother.
I want to say shout out to Biggie2316. He says, Mooch, are you going to stream Warzone? I am ready to stream Warzone. I finally got the hookup. That may be something we can do. I can't do it tonight, But I can probably maybe on Sunday. That sounds good. Maybe a Sunday Warzone. We'll make it a good long 2-3 hour stream. Nonetheless, Dean Knox. Dean, let people know where they can find you, brother, because it was fire tonight. You always bring that passion, that energy that usually only New Yorkers can bring, buddy. Let people know where they can find you. Thanks for being here.
Know where you can find that duck ass motherfucker Knox at, but you can find Chauncey right here on the Knox We Trust, on the next podcast, on Crap Gamers shit, on Rap shit, on Crossfire shit. You can find Chauncey in all them spots, baby. I'm in there. I'm everywhere, dog. I'm in Gaming Forte shit. I'm in slow-mo shit too.
Yo, Chauncey, after you destroyed the special guest waiting room, you're never allowed on next podcast again, man. I told you that.
Yo, my man, I thought we were doing the raid. Tonight, my man. What happened?
Dude, I can't do it with you. You don't have an Xbox.
Of course I got an Xbox.
You never play it, man.
It's not his Xbox. It's the S. It's the S. I like the whack shit. I use the S because it's the whack one. You know what I mean?
Shout out to
he threw away the fat.
Love it. Shout out to Doxy, man.
Always a great time, guys. Always a great time. Yo, Mooch, thanks for having me, brother. You already know how we give it up. Awesome panel, awesome chat, awesome show. Like always, guys, it is what it is. You know how we do.
Thank you, Knox. I appreciate that. And then I've got my brother here who does his work for you. He does his work for you. That's why when he speaks numbers, that's the man I listen to. It's Gaming Forte. He celebrated his birthday. Happy birthday again, Forte. And thank you so much for being here tonight.
No, man. Apologies for leaving. I literally was about to cuss on this podcast. So I just instead of cussing on this show like I was about to say, I had to bounce. But look, man, the only thing
don't lie. You got scared, Forte. It's all good.
I ain't scared of none of you, mother.
That's why you left. You got scared. Forte, you got scared, sir. Just a minute.
Oh Lord.
Go ahead, Forte.
No, go ahead, finish.
No.
Yo, Forte's the best.
Go ahead and finish. I want you to get all this energy out. Go ahead.
Nope, I'm not doing. We'll save it for tomorrow.
We'll catch it all tomorrow.
Oh man, that's a
Forte. We got receipts, sir. Thank you, J-Dub.
All right. So, only thing I want to leave everybody with is just a simple fact is the one thing that irritates me probably the most in this community is we always try to find a reason why something's going to fail instead of figuring out what they can do to succeed. That's the whole problem here. We all know that different platform holders and different entities are going to have a hard time going next generation. That's what to be said. You know, they're fighting up here battles because they put themselves in predicaments that are not favorable to a lot of the people that are on these platforms. But when I tell you, let's try to find a way to be more positive about the situation and see exactly what we think can happen to actually turn this around instead of just saying they're instantly just dead in the water.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing that kind of just irritates me about the whole thing, because I try to just think about it out. I think a lot of outside the box about a lot of this stuff, not trying to be like everybody else. And I feel like they have a really good plan if they execute on it. And that's just the biggest thing with Xbox. Are they going to execute? Now, that's up in the air because they haven't really truly executed this whole generation with the exception of the last 6 to 7 months. Is that going to continue? No one knows. But I'm willing to give them an option, and I think a lot of people in this community are willing to do that too. So I just tell people, let's take this. I mean, I hate to say take a wait and see approach, but when it comes to this,
wait till July. Is that what you're saying?
No, don't wait till July, because I got a video coming out later tonight that's going to talk about it. But I agree with everybody. This is Xbox's last great chance to really make a push, and it starts in June whenever this reveal is. So whatever they do there is going to paint the picture for the next generation for them, I believe. But until I see it and until that actually happens, I feel like we owe just to see exactly how this is going to shape out, because that's going to be their first party push. If they don't succeed with this push, they're not going to succeed next generation at all. And then the piling on can start. Everybody can have a party and jump on Xbox and say it's going to be dead in the water. But let's at least wait to that. But like I said, I enjoyed the show. I'm mad that I'm upset that I left because I love all you guys. No hard feelings or anything. Brap already talked about the show tomorrow. We got Breakfast with Boom, not Breakfast with Boom, Primetime Gaming on Mondays at 9. We also got the beautiful Ashley Lucas. Shout out to her. Slow-mo backslap, everybody else. That's going to be going on tomorrow. Going to be a really interesting show on that whenever she decides to do it. It could be at 7 o'clock. Who knows?
Whenever she's ready, man. You know?
Yeah, whenever she decides to do it. So, Gaming Forte.
Goddamn ready, she'll do it.
Exactly. Gaming Forte on YouTube and Twitter. Doom Eternal gameplay will be showing up on the channel. Probably do a review on it because it's actually pretty good. I'm almost done with it. So
Nice.
check out for that. And you guys have a great week. And I can't wait to see you guys over the course of the weekend. Have a good holiday.
Appreciate that, Forte. And I'll be honest with you, Forte, you made a good point. Something that maybe next week I'll talk to you a little bit before we do the show is to see if we can get a segment on just something like you were saying, kind of maybe it's not a positive spin, but it's a spin that actually says, you know what, let's see what's going to come down the pipe and take a different look at it instead of always tearing it down. So I kind of like where you're going with that, Forte. I think this show and a lot of shows could do that. I think that'd be a great idea. And then I've got Xbot 448. Xbot, you did so much defense tonight. I mean, in all honesty,
dude, I was muted half the time. What
are you
talking
kidding
about?
me? I think you owned the
know,
first
for real.
hour. I think honestly,
This is the only show where I go through 2 bottles of water in 2 hours, man. Not even my own show. Like, dude, it was absolutely amazing. I gotta say, Forte, Slow-Mo, and Predator, you guys were the MVPs tonight. As far as I'm concerned, MVPs of the panel. Yo, great job. Loved hearing you guys. Yeah, I got next podcast tomorrow on my channel. It's every Saturday, 7 p.m. We are going at it again. I think we got a really, really interesting main topic that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. I'm not gonna put it out there yet because I have a feeling the rest of this panel will start getting into it. That's just the way Crossfire is, man. You put a topic out there, everybody just jumps on. I got an opinion on that. But definitely tune in tomorrow, 7 p.m. And Mooch, we're going to have to talk about a Saturday appearance sometime, man.
Hey, buddy, just say when. We'll make it work. I guarantee you. You give me a date, we'll make it work. I appreciate that, Xbox. And last but certainly not least, he's still on fire in the chat. He's on fire in the panel. Great new videos, guys. Check out Crab Gamer Reviews. Crab, where can people find you, brother?
Crab Gamer Reviews. Yeah, and I just want to point out, you know how Gaming Forte is like, it kind of annoys them when people are just like very negative. I'm the opposite way. I get kind of annoyed with the overly positive, because they can go both ways. And I'm not saying that he's wrong or I'm right or whatever.
Guy, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying for all these years, and like I said when I was joking around at the beginning, like people really do just, and even if they don't show like a ton of stuff, and there's still going to be that contingent, and we all know it, that they're going to still damage control and still make excuses for X. They're going to. They could show Phil taking a dump in a box on stage, and people are going to be like, best show ever, classic, Phil, classic, and they're going to clap him. So for me personally,
it was artistic crap. It was artistic.
Exactly.
Is he taking a dump on stage in 60 frames per second?
No, because he's saying that gamers don't care about frame rate. Wait, no, that was 2 years ago. That was 2.5 years ago when he was selling us a 30 frame box. Now he wants to sell us a 60 frame box. So of course frame rate matters. I get confused sometimes, but yeah, it's been lovely. I enjoy it. A lot of good times here. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Hey, get Mooch up over 10,000.
Yes, thank you, Crap. I appreciate that. Guys, hit the like button, share it out, guys. We'll be back next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I want to say thanks to the panel again. Amazing super chat, amazing chat. You guys have all been great. If you do want to join the channel, it's right above the description. We'll do it again next Friday. Guys, enjoy the Memorial Day weekend, and good night.
Peace.
Battle Toads!